Presentation of Jefferson Pilot Sports.
The great rivalry between Duke and the University of North Carolina dates back more than 100 years. Although Carolina holds the overall edge in the series, it was Duke that dominated the play when stadium namesake Wallace Wade was at the helm of the Blue Devils. The Tar Heels have won the last 6 games, and the 1994 battle typifies the series. A last-second win by underdog Carolina left number 24 Duke upset, and the Carolina Heels on top of the world. Today it's Duke looking for the upset, as the Devils and the Heels seek to ring out the year with a win. Coming up next. From Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina, Jefferson Pilot Sports presents the Exxon ACC Game of the Week. This afternoon, the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Duke Blue Devils. We get to the end of November, and it is Rivalry Saturday. Lots of traditional matchups, and we've got a dandy here this afternoon with Duke and North Carolina. Hi, everybody. Along with Doc Walker, I'm Jack Corrigan. You saw on that list, Southern California, UCLA. Bruin alum knows quite well what a rivalry game means, don't you, Doc?
Well, it's really what makes college football special. And I still have no affection for Southern Cal, and it goes beyond your playing days. That's the beauty of it.
Probably not a lot of love lost. Respect, but not love between these two teams. And a guy that we will key in on this afternoon for North Carolina, quarterback Chris Keldorf. He's had a great season this year, but the tough game last week against Virginia.
Yeah, quarterbacks are judged by their performance in big games, and I'm sure that he wants to get back today and redeem himself from last week's loss, and he's got the tools to do it.
For the Duke Blue Devils, their hope for a good end of the season, the only way to make things turn around from an 0-10, and for Billy Granville and the rest of the seniors who are going to be recognized today, to finish with a win against an arch rival means everything.
Well, you don't want the offer, and you also want to beat Carolina if you're Duke. It could make your entire year, and I believe we're going to get a superior effort out of Duke.
Well, Billy Granville's family certainly hopes so, and so do the rest of the Duke parents. But North Carolina might have something to say about that. We're going to step away. When we return to Durham, more on Duke and North Carolina.
Today's Exxon ACC Game of the Week is brought to you by Exxon, proud corporate partner of ACC football. Exxon, rely on the Tigers. By First Union. By Pepsi, nothing else is a Pepsi. By Continental Airlines, more airline for your money. By CarQuest Auto Parts Stores. For the CarQuest store nearest you, call 1-800-492-PARTS. By Mazda, experience cars and trucks built with a passion for the road. Mazda. By Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. By your hometown Carolina Dodge dealer and the new Dodge. And by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, the vision to power your dreams.
Here in Durham as the Duke Blue Devils take the field. The Battle of the Blue, they sometimes call this matchup between Duke and North Carolina, but it has a little greater significance, and our sideline man, Mike Hogwood, has more on this great rivalry between these two terrific schools.
Jack, you're looking at the victory bell. The team that wins this game each year gets to keep it for a year. These cheerleaders have been guarding this bell for the last couple of years, and they painted it down here. They painted it Carolina blue, and it stayed that way. But don't believe that the Duke cheerleaders have not tried to steal this every now and then. The football team's going to try to earn it for real. They want this painted Duke blue by the time next season when this game has been played. Well, the victory bell will be ringing today on the North Carolina sideline. We're expecting a great battle. The Tar Heels and the Blue Devils, and we got the kickoff coming up live from Durham next.
Crisp is the way my partner describes what is a gorgeous afternoon here in Durham. Crowd still filing in, expecting to have a near full house for the battle between North Carolina and Duke. Duke won the toss and deferred, so Carolina will get the ball as we look at Doc Walker's keys to victory.
Well, Jack, I think for Carolina, back to basics, I would run Leon Johnson until Duke was blue in the face. And for the Devils, it would pressure the quarterback. I would give Keldorf the blues. I would send that much pressure on him and force him to fumble the football or possibly throw an interception.
Mac Brown's team at 8-2, trying to come up with another outstanding season in the annals of Carolina football history. Fred Goldsmith trying to avoid a first ever winless season for the Duke Blue Devils. He knows he's got a lot of youngsters who are going to get better, but you still don't want to go a whole year without tasting a victory.
You said it best. You can improve a lot more with 1-10.
Sims Lenhart will kick it towards Leon Johnson, the deepest of the triangle of men awaiting the kick for North Carolina. And it'll be Jonathan Linton. No, did Leon Johnson finally come up with the ball? It's a 14-yard return, and it was Linton on the kick return. No, it wasn't. It was Leon Johnson. And with the return, Leon now has the record for all-purpose yards in the Atlantic Coast Conference. He only needed 3, passing NC State great Ted Brown. Now more than 5,570 yards in the career of Leon Johnson. Carolina will have the ball. 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. We'll set the lineups in a moment. Chris Keldorf adjusts his offense as Freddie Jones, the tight end, shifts from left to right. Johnson gets a call on 1st down and barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by the nose man, Eric Scanlon. Let's look at the Chrysler Plymouth starting lineups. We'll feature Leon Johnson, but a good receiving core for Keldorf and a terrific offensive line for North Carolina, headed up by all-star candidate Jeff Saturday at center.
Jeff off to an outstanding season, and consistency is really the label on Jeff Saturday.
They will credit Johnson with a gain of about a yard or so. Keldorf will put it up on 2nd down. Plenty of time, but off the shoulder pad of Jonathan Linton, who looped out of the backfield. It'll be 3rd and long for North Carolina against a young Duke defense headed up by Billy Granville, the number 3 tackler in the ACC with more than 120 tackles. Secondary is led by a youngster, redshirt freshman Darius Clark, who has had a fine season in his first year in a Blue Devil uniform. Receiver set in the ball game. Double clock down to 7 as Keldorf takes the shotgun snap. Over the middle, he has a receiver and a 1st down. Nay Brown, the leading receiver on the year for North Carolina, picks up his 50th, a 15-yard completion to keep the drive alive.
Boy, Nate Brown looks a little gimpy as he goes off, but he has been really the mainstay, 3rd in the ACC in receptions. And again, you look at Keldorf's numbers, and that 23 touchdowns to 5 interceptions is outstanding.
Watson and Johnson will be in the I formation behind Keldorf, although he'll change, and Watson will align to his left. Keldorf, play action. Looking down the middle for Octavius Barnes. No, going deep for L.C. Stevens. Contact downfield with Eric Jones. Also down on the coverage, Lamar Grant. Looking for the home run ball, and Keldorf couldn't connect.
Well, I think it's a pretty good sign there that Chris would really like to get a big one early because he forced it. He threw into double coverage, and you know, a little of that is to be expected early on. He's got to get the memory of the Virginia Cavalier defense out of his mind.
They will spread Freddie Jones, the tight end, into a slot on the right side. 2nd and 10. Keldorf to throw again. Downfield. Octavius Barnes was open, but he couldn't connect. Lamar Grant again on the coverage. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Carolina. They converted on their previous 3rd down, and they are outstanding in that category. 50% on the season.
That's unheard of. That really is. Mac Brown and his staff, they've had the liberty of keeping those sticks moving, but it's still a little impatient in this opening drive. I thought they would come out and pound it a little more, but they want to get it. They want to get it quick.
Darren Ashford comes in as another wide receiver. They take Freddie Jones out of the lineup. Blitz on. Keldorf will go down. Chris Combs will put him away, but it was Tawambi Settles on a safety blitz, number 6, that started the trouble for Carolina.
And that's the key. Pressure, pressure, pressure on the quarterback. If you've got a blitz to do it, it doesn't matter. You just got to get there because you leave your secondary in a world of trouble, but not this case. Look at the Blue Devils swarm Keldorf. Again, I would not want this young man in this situation early on.
Credit Chris Combs with the sack, his 8th of the year, and Derek DePriest will have to punt it away towards Adam Geis, who is looking up into the sun. Geis at his 11. Looking for a block on the near sidelines, gets it back to the 15. A 33-yard punt and about a 3-yard return. Deion Dyer on the stop. Duke will have the football deep in its own territory with 12:48 to play here in the first period. We'll step away from Wallace Wade. Back here at Wallace Wade Stadium, Mike Hogwood, Rick Walker, and yours truly, Jack Corrigan. Duke will have the ball back inside its 10-yard line. A personal foul penalty called at the end of the punt return. David Green, the junior quarterback out of Charlotte, as DeWood Rashid is the lone setback on first down. And Rashid gets the call, goes right into the arms of K. Mays. It'll be 2nd and long as we look at the Duke offense. Latavius Wilkes will see a lot of action. Corey Thomas keeps climbing up the record chart for Duke's receiving corps. Chad Melita, the best of the offensive linemen.
Here's a group with a real challenge. You're going against that Carolina defense, top-rated defense in the country, and what impressed me about this group is they are relentless. 202 pressures of the quarterback this season. I mean, that is awesome.
2nd and 8. Montgomery one in motion. Flags fly as Montgomery catches the ball for a first down, but he might have turned upfield too quickly. We'll wait for the call as Greg Williams made the hit. Oh, offsides against North Carolina. So it will go as a first down for Duke. As you look at the Carolina
first down
defense, Greg Ellis about to set a Carolina sack record, and of course the great linebacking trio of Hamilton, Mays, and Simmons, and Dre Bly, the leading interceptor in the country. He's already 4th on the all-time Carolina interception list in his first year.
11 picks. And that alone, I mean, if tight ends, man, that's a season of receptions.
Montgomery again lines up as the tailback and then goes in motion in the one-back set. Green just got rid of it for Montgomery, who makes the catch out near midfield. All kinds of pressure, and David Green just stepped back and let it fly.
Well, you go back to the Wake Forest, Florida State game. Wake had opportunities early on and missed them. In this case, David Green, you know you're going to be under pressure. You sit in there and you find the open receiver and you hook up. You make it happen. Good reception.
David Green got a face full of Vonnie Holliday, but got rid of it. Had Montgomery matched up on a linebacker. On first down, Rashid gets the call and goes nowhere. Vonnie Holliday again knifing through. Brian Simmons also there on the hit for Carolina.
Well, the thing about the Tar Heel defense, there you see David Green's numbers. I know he'd want more touchdowns on that, and this has really been a problem for this offense, not scoring enough. But going against this defense with pressure, that is now their 93rd pressure. And that's one thing that Coach Goldsmith has got to think about. How do I stop these guys from getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage?
Montgomery again going in motion. Green looking that way. Montgomery slipped. He was open, but lost his footing and couldn't come down with the ball. Interesting concept here early on by Larry Beckish, the offensive coordinator, taking a wide receiver out of the backfield.
Well, and put him in motion, because that really gives you separation. If you're going right into a zone, even man, because Carolina plays so much man, you can find some seams right in the middle of the field. I think a number of passes will happen around the hash marks because of those great corners for Carolina.
You saw James Hamilton, the linebacker, turn his back on Montgomery. Had he kept his footing, they get a nice gain again. 3rd and long. Huddle clock is already down to 3, and Green will have to burn a timeout. They had some late substitutions, and Duke couldn't get the play off in time. 10:53 on the clock here in the first quarter. Big third down call for the Duke Blue Devils. Back after this word from your local ACC. One of our crew members, young man, it's Evan Riley. Pat's pride and joy, right, Pat?
Well, he takes after his mommy. Thank God.
3rd and 12 for David Green. Carolina showing blitzes. Rashid goes in motion. They drop back. They've got a screen set up for Hodrick, the tight end, and it's handled wonderfully by Brian Simmons for a loss. Brian Simmons, the junior out of New Bern, North Carolina, one of the best outside linebackers in the country.
Tackle by North Carolina.
Well, that young man is so active to the football, but looks like Friedman does 74 watching. Now, you're delayed. As an offensive lineman, you're thinking in your mind, wait, and then go. And sometimes you don't go. You can wait only so much, then you got to go hit somebody with the opposite color jersey.
John Kruger, the #1 punter in the ACC, averaging more than 45 yards a kick, but this is a knuckleball. And it will die at the North Carolina 31-yard line. Only a 28-yard punt by John Kruger. Let's go down to the field for an update from Mike Hogwood.
Well, North Carolina's getting the football back. We saw in that first series the Tar Heels really try to hit the home run ball. They tried it 3 different times. I'm listening to the coaches over on the Carolina sidelines. They said, guys, that play's going to work for us today. We're going to try it again. Be ready. Carolina going for that big home run ball.
Well, Duke has certainly been susceptible in a speed matchup in their secondary, and that's an area Carolina tried to exploit on their first drive. Toss to Leon Johnson, trying to turn the corner. No place to go. Chris Combs, the fine freshman defensive lineman for Duke, with another hit.
Combs a madman. I mean, that kid is so active, and he shows you that he's got about 265 pounds, but he can rush the passer. He plays the run well. Another one of those young, bright prospects for Duke.
Johnson gets a yard on the play. He has been the lone ball carrier in 2 running attempts for Carolina so far. Keldorf will put it up again. Chris with time will loop out of the backfield to Johnson, and he'll have first down yardage out to the Carolina 45. A pickup of about 13. Abunaway and Granville, the linebackers, bring him down.
So dangerous. He hurts you in so many different ways. A return man. He can run the football. He can circle out of the backfield. He blocks. He's got soft hands. He's just a treat.
Set a Carolina record last year for receptions in a season. That was catch number 37 of this campaign for the senior. Keldorf out to the flat. Good catch by L.C. Stevens. It looked for a moment like that ball was going to be picked off by linebacker Kevin Lewis, but Stevens, who's a big body, shielded the ball away and picks up another Carolina first down.
Well, you love to see receivers that go ahead and meet the football, that are aggressive about it. It hurt Carolina against Virginia. Lack of going back with the football. This is the case. They corrected this week. That's good stuff. And you're right, Jack. When you got a big body, you've got to utilize it.
6'5", 210, catch number 39 on the year for L.C. Stevens. Carolina again into Duke territory. Johnson, there's delay this time, and picks his way forward for a couple of tough yards. Eric Jones out of the secondary chops him down at the Duke 40.
One of those backs that he can have a few bad plays. He'll get you 1 yard, 2 yards. As long as you continue to go to him, he just gets better and better with time, which is a trademark of great running backs.
3-yard pickup for Johnson. Would need a huge day today to get 1,000 yards rushing. Came in with 746 on the year. Jones, the tight end, shifts from left to right. Stop-up route hit the back of Freddie Jones. Wanted to run the hitch to Octavius Barnes, and Freddie Jones blocking Darius Clark, or Kevin Lewis rather, had the ball hit him right in the back.
Let's take another look at that. You know, Freddie wanted another reception, and he's out putting his big body on people. That was clearly a miscue. Because tight ends, you know, if you get a chance at the football, you definitely want it. You don't want it to hit you. You want to catch it. And that young man has had a tremendous season for Carolina. Look at the numbers, UNC record for tight ends. He was a special athlete.
3rd and 7. They go to a 4-receiver set again. Duke showed blitz and then dropped 8 back into coverage. They find Stevens. Can he get to the first down 6? It will be close. He might have the yardage. Kevin Lewis and Lamar Grant there, but again, using the big body of L.C. Stevens. And the sophomore keeps the chains moving.
All L.C.'s got to do is just hit the turf. And if he's close to it, he stretches those arms out, it's going to be first down Tar Heels.
4th completion of the game for Chris Keldorf, 49 yards unofficially. He's taken it down to the Duke 31. Keldorf out of the backfield. He had a man open, Chris Watson, but Brian McCormick, the outside linebacker who was pressuring on the play at 6'6", got a big hand up to knock it down.
Yeah, you just love to see defensive linemen that coach well, and they know if they can't get there, elevate, get the hands up, knock things down. That's a big play for Duke.
Jones splits wide with Barnes to the left of Keldorf. Stevens flanks right. Delayed handoff to Leon Johnson. Picks his way down to about the 26-yard line of Duke. Chris Ruzick and Billy Granville there again.
Number 96, Chris Ruzick.
Boy, this guy, we've talked so much about him. Started with 122 tackles. Here he is, you know, undersized whenever you go against those big hosses of Carolina. Gathers on that play 74, but he roots you out. He and coach used to say, just root him out. You know, use that leverage to your advantage. And this is one of the best.
Another 3rd down situation for Carolina. They have converted twice here on this drive. Barnes comes in motion. Keldorf's pass knocked down again. Eric Scanlon this time, the nose man, got the football. A gritty effort thus far by the Blue Devil defense.
Well, Coach Scotty Brown, D-line, getting it going. I thought Eric Jones might have been in on this one. He might have picked this off. Freddie Jones going to flash right across your screen. That's where you want it to go. I don't know if it would have worked. He still got a little tattoo at the end.
Josh McGee on to attempt a 44-yard field goal. He is 7 of 14 on the year. Tawambi Settles got a piece of the ball. Picked up by Darius Clark at the 5-yard line. But Tawambi Settles blocks the field goal try, and North Carolina comes up empty.
Well, this is attitude. This is attitude by Duke. And those seniors don't want to go out without a win. And this is the way you get your program back. You beat Carolina. That's what great elevation, timing, the whole bit. And most of all, folks, effort.
Tawambi Settles, the junior out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, elevating like one of Coach K's hoopers last night in Cameron Indoor.
Sure we didn't see him last night? Oh, man.
Duke, again, deep in their own territory. Their first drive started on the 7. This one inside the 5. They'll give it to Latavius Wilkes. And the little guy picks his way out over the 10, almost to the 13-yard line for the freshman out of Crestview, Florida. 7-yard gain.
Well, that's the way you get out. You're backed up offensively. You need a good play. That time, Austin Smithwick at right tackle. Real nice block. I mean, it's tough. You're going against those big hosses in Carolina, but he stayed with that block, and it opened it up for him.
Carolina playing without one of its starters up front. Mike Tringley not in the lineup. Russell Davis replacing him at defensive end. On 2nd down, Wilkes again. Bounced off a couple of people, but got minimal yardage. Andre Purvis, Vonnie Holiday, tackles both there on the play. And it'll be 3rd and about 3 for the Blue Devils.
This is where I like Montgomery in motion, and as you mentioned earlier, Jack, you can get a wide out inside and you can match him up versus press man and catch him right between the hash marks. You ought to be able to pick this one up. Holiday, he's another werewolf. Those tackles for Carolina, they're good.
About 3. On the option. No place for Wilkes to go as he is dropped in the backfield by Greg Ellis.
There's 7. I mean, there's 7
What's a carry?
defenders over there. You look at the Carolina Blue, that's a swarm of Carolina Blue, and you're not going to outrun them. They just get off the ball too well for that. And if I go that way, I don't go at Ellis. I'm going to option away from 87 because this guy gets off the block, is a factor, and still makes the tackle. I don't run at Mr. Greg Ellis.
His 18th tackle for a loss this year. John Kruger, who didn't get off a very good punt last time, against pressure again hits a knuckleball, but gets a better bounce this time. It will go out of bounds right at midfield. A 33-yard punt by Kruger.
50-yard line.
Good field position again for North Carolina, but we're scoreless here in Durham. Back after this word from CarQuest Auto Parts. Beautiful campus here on the grounds in Durham here for Duke University. It's Cameron Indoor in the background, I believe. Ball, the length of the ball anyway, just inside Duke territory on the 3rd possession of the day for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Chris Keldorf on play action, looking for L.C. Stevens again. Nice catch.
Oh, man.
Good coverage by Tawambi Settles. In fact, beyond good. He interfered with him, and Stevens caught the ball anyway.
Number 6, Tawambi Settles for the Blue Devils.
Boy, that L.C. Stevens. We've talked about him now in about 4 plays. Number 1, great pass pro by Carolina, and then the hands. But love the receivers that go out and bring it home. Watch the big fella, 6'5", gives you a little feint, comes across. Watch the hands. See, that's good stuff.
Now Duke this week, Bob Trout, the defensive coordinator, took Settles, who is normally a safety but at good size at 6'3", 200, and moved him to cornerback to try and match up a little better with Stevens.
You're going to have to do something.
Keldorf makes a play change at the line of scrimmage. Looks for Stevens, looks for Barnes, now looks for daylight. Down he goes. Ike Abunaway, one of the inside backers on the hit. Keldorf able to scramble for 2. He checked off and looked like he was looking for stop routes or hitch routes either way, and Keldorf is hurt.
And Darius Clark really disrupted that play. Well, we hope this is minor. Let's see if we can get a wide shot on this. He looks left, wants to go to L.C. Stevens, but great coverage by Clark. He gets in his way, and at this point, let's watch and see what happens.
Ooh, left knee.
Boy.
Yep.
Not good.
Had that left leg pinned underneath him.
Yeah. And Jack, you know what happens? He's still trying to make up for last week. You know, a guy with his kind of season, you just say slide. I know Mac Brown's going, hey, big guy, just slide for me.
It almost looked like perhaps he wanted to at the end, Doc, but couldn't do it in time.
And he's 6'5", he's close to 250, big fella.
A concerned Mac Brown will head out to find out from his medical staff an early indication. It will turn the reins over to Oscar Davenport, who ironically hurt his left knee last year in a game against Clemson that in part created a need in the spring to find another quarterback. They went out and got Chris Keldorf as a junior college transfer from Palomar Junior College. And Chris has done a great job. Davenport finally healthy now. Let's go down to the field. Mike Hogwood has more on it.
Well, the reason that there are so many people around him right now that they fear he has broken his ankle or his foot, it is turned at a very abnormal position. They're trying to stabilize it and put some kind of air splint on it. That's why you see so many of the doctors around there, but not good news for Chris Keldorf.
Yeah, you could see the leg pinned under, Mike. It was hard to tell if he did the knee. We couldn't even see from our replay the foot or the ankle. But he was in obvious pain. You could see it on his face as he was going down. It will be a very unfortunate end, it appears, to the '96 season of Chris Keldorf. Watch the left leg at the end of the play. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, not good. It's a part of this game that no matter how many years I watch it or play it, yeah, the ankle. You can see there. That's dislocation.
So Oscar Davenport, the sophomore out of St. Petersburg, Florida, will not only take over for this ball game, in all likelihood, maybe for the bowl game as well for the Tar Heels, with the likely dislocation or broken ankle or foot problem. Be kind of hard, although possible, but unlikely that Keldorf would be back in the 6 weeks that they have, the 5 weeks plus before the bowl game for Carolina.
Yeah, we sure hope so. I mean, we can only now extend our prayers for this young man. This is, you know, it's part of the game, but, you know, as a coach, you see your franchise quarterback and you go, son, just slide. And you're right, Jack. Maybe he was attempting to do that, but he's a big guy. And big guys don't always like to just slide.
St. Bernard's High School in the Los Angeles area. Chris Keldorf out of Manhattan Beach. Went to 2 junior colleges because he wanted to remain a quarterback, and with his size, people wanted to make him a linebacker or a tight end, but he thought he could be a Division I quarterback, and he has had one of the great seasons passing-wise in North Carolina history. But the season may be done for Chris Keldorf. We'll try and get you updates as the day moves along. Mike Hogwood will stay right on top of the activity. But Keldorf will be carted off the field as offensive lineman with an encouraging tap on the shoulder. But it'll be up to Oscar Davenport now to guide the show for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Now, you can talk rivalry all you want, but there's not anybody in this stadium that doesn't want to see a good football player play. I mean, this is the part that we have to deal with, but it is most unfortunate. And see, that's a good gesture. As Green comes over, counterpart.
Now, he knows what it's like.
Yeah, man.
Oscar Davenport has attempted only 41 passes in his short North Carolina career. And he'll take over second and 8 at the Duke 29. Leon Johnson gets the call. Driving up the right side behind Mike Hobgood is close to first down territory. Billy Granville there trying to shut him down, and I would certainly imagine Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, early on will try and help his young quarterback along by putting the ball in the belly of Leon Johnson.
Well, you said it right. I think we've seen the end of Air Carolina, and it going back to Johnson, Johnson, and Johnson.
2 for 4 on third down. 3rd and short here for the Heels, and they'll toss it to Leon Johnson. First down, chopped down on the play by Eric Jones, but Johnson has first down yardage as Keldorf makes his way to the locker room. And of course, the visiting locker room is quite a distance away here at Wallace Wade from the playing field. 1st and 10 Heels just inside the Duke 20. Excuse me, Doc.
Pardon me.
No, pardon me.
Pardon me. Talk about emotional whiplash. Last week's loss, you know, a shot out of the Alliance, and now this. These kids will really be tested now if they can get their brains back in this ball game.
1st and 10, Davenport to Johnson. Great step around move by Leon Johnson. Chris Combs had him in the backfield for a loss of about 3. It ends up being a gain of almost 5. Eric Jones on the hit.
210, 12 pounds, and has the sweet feet. Boy, you can make people miss like this guy does in traffic. I mean, we just can't say enough about the way he approaches this ball game.
Brown and Stevens, the wide receivers, in the basic I set right now for North Carolina. Johnson again, trying to get to the corner. Johnson, good open field hit by Darius Clark. Johnson will be a yard and a half, maybe 2 yards shy of the first down. I like Darius Clark.
Well, in the open, I mean, you single this young man out, and he deserves it because he's got a little hammer in his blood. He will come up and close. That's the responsibility. Outside in, there's the hit. Going right at that ball, and of course, there's Ibunaway and company trying to add a little spice to the meal.
Clark, a redshirt freshman out of Tampa. Look at the 10 TFLs on the year for the youngster.
Look at his neck on that guy.
Another third down try for the Tar Heels. Johnson bounces it outside. First down. Leon Johnson to the shadow of the goal line.
Number 12, Leon Johnson on the carry.
So I say it again, Johnson, Johnson, and more Johnson. That's what it's all about. See, I thought they'd start the ball game in this manner. Just physically go at Duke and say, okay, let's see if you can take the right cross.
Duke has allowed almost 210 yards a game on the ground. Carolina first and goal at the Duke 1. Maurice McGregor joins Johnson and Watson in the Carolina backfield. Leon Johnson, touchdown. On their third possession of the first quarter, Carolina finally reaches the end zone to take a 6-0 lead.
But I wouldn't mess around. I'd look for number 75, Byron Thomas. I said, hey, big guy, we're coming your way. And that's exactly what happened. And LJ finds the pay dirt once again. Make that 9th time this season on the ground.
49th touchdown in Leon Johnson's North Carolina career. Josh McGee's conversion out of the hole to Derek DePriest is good. And with less than a minute to play here in the first quarter, North Carolina takes the lead, but at what price with the loss of quarterback Chris Keldor?
Yeah, different approach to this offense now. Definitely more smash mouth. Look at the left side of that line. Just getting it done all the way. Watson in there again, 250-pounder. These are numbers that, I mean, backs all across the country, high school kids look at it, you just go, wow.
Averaging more than 125 yards a game against Duke in his career. And he's looking to add to that total as we take a First Union look around the ACC. Georgia Tech still has some bowl hopes. Wake Forest and NC State getting underway shortly over in Raleigh. Florida State hosting Maryland. Actually, it's Maryland's home game, I think, down at Fort Lauderdale. And another traditional battle, Clemson and South Carolina later today. Interesting about that game, the visitor has won the last 5. So if Clemson wants a nice bowl situation, they better worry about those visiting Gamecocks in Death Valley.
A lot of pressure in those rivalries. The alumni, all the tailgate people going after it. You see Richmond Flowers. He's had good ball games. He's always found a way to make a big play.
And we had a gentleman down in Clemson who informed us, right, Richmond Flowers III. His daddy, the great player at Tennessee, was Richmond Flowers Jr. Ryan Smith will kick it away towards Mr. Flowers. Looking up into the sun, he'll gather it in at his own 2-yard line. Looking for the wedge. A little bit of a seam. Flowers with a good move. Richmond Flowers still on his feet down to the Carolina 36, but hang on, there's a flag back at the Duke 33. Reggie Love made the hit, but let's get the call, and it's against the Duke Blue Devils.
Boy, Flowers, he likes JP Sports. He really does. It brings out the very best in him. That is speed and determination. Little help from his friend.
Holding.
That might have been the
On the
one that
receiving
caught.
team during return, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we talked about his dad's,
That kid's a player.
we talked about his dad's football exploits. His dad was an outstanding hurdler as well. We got a little bit of that.
Oh, we saw some balance.
The hurdling genes
Yep.
in Richmond III.
Also the balance gene.
Yep. But again, Duke will be saddled with tough field position. Instead of the Carolina 36, it's their own 23, but that's their best to start. They're beyond the 10.
Boy, that's a missed opportunity. Special teams, boy, you
gotta have it. As David Green looks to put it up, and Hodrick wide open. Greg Williams had slipped on the play, but Hodrick, the tight end, needed I'd say at least a 6 or 12-foot extension ladder to catch that one.
Well, that would have been a big one. It seems like whenever the receiver slips or the defender slips, quarterbacks, receivers don't seem to hook up. And again, another rat-a-tat-tat by Carolina.
Kavayusa Mays, the middle linebacker, putting the pressure on David Green there. 2nd and 10 for Duke. 29 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Pressure again. Green trying to buy time, going upfield. And good coverage downfield by Brian Simmons as David Green tried to get it to Lamar Marshall.
And a great no call. That was a great no call. You watch Green now. See, you got to get rid of that football. You got to be going now. And if not, you roll right and you're looking to improvise. Watch Simmons. This guy, linebacker or what? He has 4 interceptions on the day. Covered him like a strong safety. 230-pounder that can run.
You see the Duke bench on that replay reacting, but as long as he turned his head back to the ball, he was fine, and that's what Brian did.
Yeah, great no call by the Spiders.
Carolina has everybody rolled up on defense. Busted play. David Green ends up diving forward to pick up a couple. But on the final play of the quarter, Duke will find itself in another punting situation.
Number 87, Greg Ellis.
I grabbed you. They get off to a great start. Kind of resembles their Maryland game where they were really off to a good one and a bad play here. Now this negates a great return by Richmond Flowers.
15 minutes gone in the Battle of the Blue. Advantage Carolina after 1. Coach Cavill, Tent City, up and operating yesterday outside of Cameron Indoor for the Duke Blue Devil basketball team that played in the preseason NIT last night and came up with a big win over Vanderbilt. Meanwhile, the Tar Heels in the Hall of Fame Classic had a tough night against Arizona. The Wildcats burying the 3-pointers against the Heels, but they're going to be a terrific team again this year. John Kruger punting with the win to start the second quarter. And what a difference from his first 2 punts. Johnson all the way back at his 21. Billy Granville in the open field at the 29.
John Kruger with the
little help from Brian Krenzel, but a good hit by Billy Granville. Back to the field, and Mike Hogwood.
The question now with Keldorf out, who's the backup quarterback? Kevin Carty is a freshman. They really want to redshirt him bad, but just in case, Kevin brought a manager over here to the bench and said, just in case, my helmet's tucked underneath the bench. He wears a baseball hat all during the game, just in case they need it. But more than likely, it would be Chucky Parquet or Jason Peace. They're wide receivers now, but former quarterbacks, but neither has taken a snap under center this fall. Be interesting if something happens to Oscar Davenport.
You're right, Mike. They don't want to lose that redshirt year, if at all possible. Davenport's first pass attempt, and oh boy, Billy Granville was hanging on to Leon Johnson and got away with it as we take a look at our Mazda first quarter stats. Dominated by North Carolina, but good effort so far by the Duke defense with the exception of the 1 touchdown drive. They blocked a field goal and 2 costly penalties against Duke, particularly on the fine kick return. Billy Granville, I guess that was one of his karate moves, right?
You know, that was a great one. Kid's a black belt in karate, and he sure had some moves on there that I missed, and so did Freddie Jones.
Second down, Maurice McGregor is the fullback right now in front of Leon Johnson. Johnson gets the ball and only gets a couple. Quickly from the secondary, Eric Jones. He has played very well for Duke at the free safety spot. The redshirt freshman from Belmead, New Jersey.
Right side of your screen. Watch Freddie Jones, 92, the tight end. I mean, that's a great hook block. He didn't constitute a lot of yards on there, but if you follow the continuation of this, I mean, moves this guy down. You talk about pancake blocks. 92 still driving this guy down. And, of course, Johnson, just tough runner. Duke not giving it up easily.
Carolina has been near perfect on third down, about the way they've been all year, 50% or better, as Davenport changes the play. Huddle clock down 1, and he just got the snap off in time. Looking deep downfield, he has a man. Darren Ashford, the senior, on a 24-yard hookup. Alonzo Moyer on the stop. But Darren Ashford, the little guy out of Richton, Illinois, helps Carolina move downfield.
Well, if there's any questions about Oscar's arm, check it out. I mean, that's the frozen rope you hear us talk about a lot. Ball right on the money. And Air Carolina might be back. Boy, this is nice, too. Whenever you run up against pressure and you come around a guy in man, boy, you get it done. That's good operation.
First down toss to Johnson. The former quarterback puts it in the air. May Brown is there. May Brown to the 6-yard line. Lamar Grant saves the touchdown. Leon Johnson came to Carolina as a quarterback. He has done that more than a few times in his Tar Heel career.
As far as I'm concerned, he'd be your backup quarterback. You know 12 can get it outside. Brown thought this was touchdown number 5. He waits on it, gets it. Now he's just straining. Can I get there? Not quite. That's good play call. Good timing as well.
Leon knew he had to get rid of that one. Had pressure coming from Chris Combs. A 38-yard pass play. 1st and goal for the Tar Heels. Johnson, jitterbug down to about the 2. Eric Scanlon and Eric Jones keep him out of the end zone for the moment. And we have another injured player. It is L.C. Stevens.
Oh, he knew there'd be a lot of hitting in this ball game. Duke and Carolina, you're gonna get your best shot.
A little love tap to the solar plexus will sometimes make you go.
Yeah, it does.
But he's up and ready to go again.
I don't care how much you bench. If you get hit in the gut the right way, you are.
You can have any ab machine you want.
Oh, yeah.
It's still not enough.
Right?
Yeah. Ball at the 2, 2nd and goal for Carolina. Back into their 3-man set in the backfield. McGregor and Watson ahead of Leon Johnson. Watson is the motion man. The toss to Leon. Looking for the corner. Johnson's 50th touchdown as a Tar Heel.
Boy, they make it look easy. That's Maurice McGregor, their fullback. Watson knocks you out. McGregor knocks you out. And big offensive line again. They run left. Hint, hint. I mean, if I do, I'd be slanting. I'd be doing everything I could going at that left side.
Josh McGee, the freshman out of Pearl, Mississippi, to try and add his 37th point after touchdown on the year. He hooked it and missed it. So with 12:29 to play here in the first half, the North Carolina lead remains at 13-0. Leon Johnson, 50 touchdowns in his Carolina career, 2 this afternoon. 13-0 North Carolina with the advantage. If you're just joining us, the Tar Heels lost their quarterback, Chris Keldorf, to an ankle injury in the first quarter. We'll update you on further information as it becomes available. Richmond Powers will try again to return a kickoff. Had a long one called back by a penalty as last time. Has space again, but gets it out to about the 28-yard line. And push and shove here. A little hi, how are you? There, Jomo Leggins on the hit. And Duke will try and get it going, down 13 points. The drive highlighted by the Johnson halfback pass and culminated in the Johnson touchdown run.
Wow, he's the key to their victory and their success. Shorten this game a bit, settle it down, and pound the football.
Duke settled with tough field position all game, having trouble getting the offense going. They come in averaging just over 2 touchdowns a game, scoring. Green and the quick slant, doesn't even have time for anything quick. Vonnie Holiday, no, Andre Purvis and Ryan Simmons on the sack. Second sack of the year for Mr. Purvis. Brian Simmons a piece of it as well.
They just jump over him. You know, Melita goes and tries to cut him, and the good ones, you don't cut them. They jump over bodies, and they keep their hands up. And Simmons comes in, and it just continues. Now it's easy to see why these guys have accumulated over 200 pressures.
And nearly 40 sacks on the... Well, they had everybody moving when the ball was snapped. Lamar Marshall was just trying to get himself together when they snapped the ball, and he was not set long enough. Motion penalty against Duke, but I would assume that Carolina will decline it because it's going to be 3rd and 15.
Illegal motion on the offense. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
Thank you, Mr. McCauley, to officially tell us. Tough situation for Fred Goldsmith's team again. 3rd and long against the number 3 team in the country defensively overall. And the number 1 scoring defense in the country. North Carolina has allowed only 10 points per game this year.
Now, it's crazy. And now the earth is starting to tilt against Duke. And they need a play. I mean, they need somewhere now to sustain a drive and to give the defense a blow.
And again, Duke's slow getting together on the play, and they have to call their 2nd timeout because the huddle clock was running out. 11:18 to play here in the first half. Carolina leads by 13. Back after this word from your local ACC station. One of the Little Tar Heel fans enjoying what his team has done so far. Carolina with the advantage. And on the other side, among the Duke followers, you learn early on. Oh, I bet that tastes good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. My 3-year-old.
3rd and long for David Green. Opolinick, the guy who goes in motion. Green looking downfield, but he's going to go down instead. James Hamilton and Brandon Spoon. Spoon, the freshman, and Hamilton, the senior, combined to drop Green again.
Well, the thing now is that Duke has got to hurry up their pass set. You got to get it back and you got to get it go. Let it go. Even if you get it out of bounds, let it go. You're taking bad plays now, and it's demoralizing.
3 plays all went backwards. Kruger line drives this punt, so Leon Johnson will have some room back at his 27-yard line. Tried to step through the first wave and got it out to about the 33 following the 47-yard punt. Let's get an update on Chris Keldor from our Mike Hogwood.
The news on the Carolina sideline is actually pretty hopeful. They think that it might just be a dislocated ankle. He's gone to the hospital for x-rays. He's definitely out for this game, but they hope it's not broken. There's a chance, the trainers are saying, that it could be just dislocated, and that would be good news for North Carolina.
Well, certainly for Mac Brown, he would love to have his junior quarterback back for the bowl game. We'll keep you updated on that. First down for Oscar Davenport in the offense, and again they'll go to the tailback. This time it's Jonathan Linton who gets the call, and the junior out of Catasauqua, Pennsylvania, plows ahead for a couple.
Well, they probably have more backs in the 240-pound range. These guys are 6'1", 245, and he'll hit you. Look at the orange.
Yeah, Syracuse playing very well in the Big East. Miami against the undermanned BC team after the suspension.
There's a war there.
Yeah, big one there. And speaking of wars,
yeah.
Ohio State knows they need to win that game against Michigan to keep their national title hopes alive. Davenport, little delayed handoff to Chris Watson. Watson got it out to about the 41-yard line. Darius Clark,
Chris Watson,
leading the charge. Make that Eric Jones leading the charge after the 5-yard pickup. Carolina will have 3rd and short.
The thing now that Duke has to battle against is mental. You've had things go wrong against you. You're winless, and you have to keep telling yourself, we can get this done. We can get a big play. You know, we can win this ball game. If you give up hope at any point, you're done.
5 of 7 on 3rd down for North Carolina. Davenport will put it up. Flipped it out of the backfield to Leon Johnson. Just wasn't enough room for him to move upfield. Tawambi settles on the coverage. virtually no gain on the play. And it will force a punting situation, it appears. Let's wait and make certain that that's what Carolina will do. Yes, they're going to send out their kick team, so the Duke defense able to force a 3-and-out.
Well, he needed it. LJ picks up his 150th career reception. I'm sure he'd like to have picked up the first down or a touchdown on it, but Duke, again, give him some credit. I mean, they're still battling.
Adam Geis awaiting the punt of freshman Derek DePriest out of Homestead, Florida. Big guy, 6'8". Gets that big leg into it, and Geis drifts back to his own 15. Picks up one block, but is nailed at the 20. Making the hit was number 82 for North Carolina, Algie Crumpler, who is one of their better special teams performers.
They think he's going to be an outstanding tight end in this program. They are really high on this young man.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by the new Top Flight Tour Irons with the muscle shaft. Clubs that I don't know if it would help my partner's game, but most people it would.
Well,
I mean, you're a muscle man, you know,
I think
so
it would help
you
my
need
game.
muscle shafts.
I think it would help my game. That and putter and a sand wedge.
David Green again will try and get the Duke offense going at his own 20-yard line. Marshall, the man in motion. Wilkes, the ball carrier, steps through a couple of tacklers. And Latavius with a good run of about 8 before Greg Williams knocked him down.
Well, that's what you need. Need a positive play. You can't continue to take those sacks and get back in the huddle. Guys start to look at you and you call the play and you can look in their eyes until they don't believe it'll work. Start getting some first downs, you run that football, it turns it all around.
Second and let's call it about 2 for the Duke offense. Marshall again in motion. Wilkes straight ahead. Tried to burrow for the first down. I think the spot of the ball will leave him maybe a half-yard shy. Greg Ellis at the bottom of the pile. Fred Goldsmith in conference with Larry Beckish, the coordinator upstairs. And it'll be 3rd and 1. Duke has failed to convert on its previous 4 third-down situations.
Run right.
Quarterback sneak and David Green, no chance. Vonnie Holiday underneath center John Gordon stacked up that play. It might have even lost a half a yard.
Well, they've had no success going left. Now you can't go in the middle. So I'd still go right. I'd take a shot at the other side with Bringley out.
The Duke fans at 0-10 want the Blue Devils to go for it, but you're only down 13 points halfway through the second quarter. You've got a great punter and John. Well, now Fred Goldsmith wants a timeout because maybe they're having second thoughts. You know, in terms of field position, you can push Carolina back with Kruger, but
yeah, but even a hard count, even where you guys break the huddle and you come out and you give them the phony, you know, and try if you can bring them off. But I say you go for it. I try the right side. I mean, maybe it's there. You know, you don't have a game, man. You got to go for it. You got to get a little risque.
Well, my partner proving once again what all coaches tell all broadcasters and fans.
Right.
It's always easier where you sit than where you stand.
Yeah, I can't lose my job from here, but let's just say this, though. When you get momentum going for you, you pointed it out. You just had a couple of sacks back-to-back. You get down in that huddle. You know, you've got to go for it sometimes. You know, it's not the prudent thing to do in terms of logistic football knowledge. But, hey, this is it. This is the last ball game for some of these BCP seniors.
And the way they are talking now with David Green, they are going to go for it here on 4th down. And Doc, like you said, I mean, when a team is 0-10,
yes,
you know,
well, you got to lose.
If you're going to lose,
yeah. So what? I always bring the guys over and I would say to them, hey guys, what do you guys want to do? And you can look in their eyes. If they say, go for it, coach, let's go for it.
Well, we had Ginger Littlejohn on last week. That handsome dude you saw between us, Bob Carney, our spotter. You know, you're not as good as Ginger, Bob, in the looks category, but
oh boy. It's a tough role to fill for Ginger.
Duke is just 3 out of 15 on 4th down tries this year. And they're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Let's see if they go with the long count like Doc talked about. Now they'll run it. Wills will not get it. Kabayusama May said, how do you do up top with Vonnie Holiday on the bottom? And that great Carolina defense stuffs Duke again.
And there's nobody to blame then. No, you know, no sense of pointing the finger. If I could have one thing, I'd say try it right. I mean, you're 0 for 3 now going left. See, I don't go with Ellis. I don't go with any of those guys up there. If you got a player out in Pringley who is out of the ball game today, I'd try Mr. Davis under pressure.
Carolina now with that golden opportunity to break this game open, leading 13-0. Oscar Davenport at quarterback in place of the injured Chris Keldorf. Linton the tailback behind fullback Chris Watson. And Linton gets the call and gets about 4, where Chris Combs, the freshman out of Roanoke, Virginia, and Eric Jones, the freshman out of Belmead, New Jersey. And if you notice a trend here when you talk about Duke, it's the class rank of these young men.
Yeah, young, and you know, defensively now, yeah, they can back their coach up. Hey, coach, no problem. You know, you put us in a little pinch, but we like it. We'll go in there, and we'll hold them to a field goal, or we'll stop them. You know, that's the competitive part about this game. That's what makes your blood boil.
Billy Granville, the only senior on defense for Duke. Linton again. Oh, pretty good.
Hey.
Brian McCormick was the guy who stood him up, and Eric Scanlon was the guy who finished him off.
That was some rat-a-tat-tat action. See, this is what I'm talking about. Hey, okay, so we're down a little bit. So what? You come out defensively and you keep going after people. Put those Rydell helmets to work. Now watch this finish. Yeah, see, that's what some game is about.
Tawambi settles there as well. 3rd and 3 for the Tar Heels. Davenport looking for the slant, has a little curl route. First down, Octavius Barnes inside the Duke 10.
Oscar Davenport's pass.
Lamar Grant on the stop, but Octavius Barnes, the redshirt junior out of Wilson, North Carolina, comes up with his first catch of the day.
Well, that's a big play for Barnesy. I mean, he worked that one. He worked it open. Some guys don't have a feel for open space. He does. Big O at quarterback now has really stepped in and done a job. See, he knew right where to settle, right in the sweet spot.
Jones curl took care of the linebacker, created the space for Octavius Barnes. Leon Johnson to about the 6-yard line. Settles and Clark there for Duke. 2nd and goal. Clock winding down, 5:15 to play here in the first half. Duke out of timeouts. Carolina has all 3 of theirs remaining.
Let's go defense.
Johnson 52 yards unofficially on the day, and both Carolina touchdowns. We can tie the ACC touchdown record with another score. Leans down to about the 2-yard line, Leon Johnson. Billy Granville, Chris Combs, Brian McCormick trying to keep him out of the end zone. Not only is Granville the only senior defensively out there, Settles is the only junior out there. 9 freshmen and sophomores in that Duke defense.
Kitty Corp, but they play hard. And again, they accepted the challenge. I mean, I'd be real proud of this group right now. I mean, this takes effort.
Davenport will put it up on 3rd down. He's in trouble and will go down. McCormick and Combs on the sack. Ryan McCormick leading the way, the sophomore out of Shalimar, Florida.
Sounds like a law firm, doesn't it? McCormick and Combs. Those 2 guys, again, you can just sense it. It's amazing for their youth to have accepted this challenge and this rivalry so young and playing hard. I mean, that's just good pass rush. He never gave up the outside shoulder, fundamentally sound. They held him to a field goal attempt.
Josh McGee missed an earlier 44-yard field goal try. This one of 26 yards. It was good. North Carolina extends its lead to 16, but the Duke defense deserves a pat on the back for another gallant effort. Now the Duke band, probably some folks in that crowd playing in their final football game. Senior day, of course, in the final home game for cheerleaders and flag corps and marching band in addition to football players.
That's a good point. I remember that final day. The Los Angeles Coliseum is one you never forget.
Now the kickoff by Brian Schmitz was hooked out of bounds. I think that was Chris Welch who came in and kicked off, and by going out of bounds, it enables Duke to have its best field position to start a drive today at its own 35.
Kick out of bounds. Ball be placed in the 35-yard line. First down.
Duke has started deep in its own territory throughout this football game. Couple of first downs, 0 for 5 on third down, 0 for 4 on fourth down. They'll try it again here on first down at their own 35. They show blitz. Here they come, and down goes David Green in the arms of James Hamilton.
That's great coverage. Just outstanding coverage by Carolina.
If you'll notice, there are two names so far that, and granted pressure has been a factor in, but two names we have not mentioned at all in almost all of this first half. Dre Bly, the great cornerback, and Corey Thomas, the outstanding Duke wide receiver. In that matchup, it's advantage Bly because we haven't talked about those guys at all.
They doubled him on that play.
Little quick hit to Dawood Rashid, the fullback, and he got a quick hit from K. May, who's the middle linebacker of the Tar Heels, gain of maybe a yard. There's Corey Thomas, who comes in with 114 receptions in his career, and I heard him say this week he really looked forward to the challenge of going up against Dre Bly, but they've not been able to get the ball in Mr. Thomas's neighborhood thus far.
Well, they've been to get some slants in, a couple of hitch routes. I'll give him a shot at a fly, because right now David Green has not had a chance, and when the times he's had it, he's held the ball too long.
North Carolina takes a timeout here, trying to get the ball back with 2:37 to play and trying to add on to their 16-point advantage. The difficulty, it appears, Doc, on the times that Duke has tried to spread out the Carolina defense, they don't really spread out that much because that defensive group set up in such a way by Mac Brown's staff that they play man-to-man with such great ability that you don't have to spread as many people out if you're in a zone configuration.
They give you a nickel look with regular personnel, which is incredible because their linebackers have great range. And those outside ends, I mean, had Ellis on Holiday, Terry, we've talked about Davis, and the kind of pressure they put on the quarterback.
Net yards rushing for Duke in the ball game, 0 right now. Third and 16 here. Again, they spread everybody out, and Green runs the quarterback draw and gets about 3 yards on the play because Brandon Spoon, the freshman out of Burlington, North Carolina, makes a good play in the open field. The parade All-American out of Williams High School in Burlington has another good play here. Had a sack earlier and a good open field pop here.
Yeah, you can't keep this guy out of the lineup, and that's with 3 great linebackers. I mean, you can look at Spoon. He's a stud.
Carolina again stops the clock. We had a flag on the play.
unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. 15 yards into the run, first down.
Wow, what a break for Duke. An unsportsmanlike conduct call against the Carolina defense. So cancel that timeout call by Carolina because the penalty stopped the clock, and more importantly, from Duke's perspective, gave them a first down.
I think Mr. Spoon has spent a few hours in the weight room hitting those curls. I mean, guys,
Got some guns there,
yeah,
what do you think?
he's loaded, locked and loaded, brother.
Montgomery, the man in motion. Green back to pass, gets it to Montgomery, and he gets it to the Carolina 40 for another Duke first down. Ran that play on their first possession to success and came back with it here. Omar Brown on the hit for Carolina.
And again, anytime you can match up on the inside, guys, and Williams or Brown, and stay away from Robert Williams and Bly, you've done yourself some justice.
David Green, the Duke coaches will tell you, is a gamer. A terrific leader. He is being put to the test by that Carolina defense. To the sidelines, boy, Rico Owens really got away with a push-off against Terry Billups, but couldn't come up with the pass. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Duke.
I thought he turned upfield. He was right on the mark. Let's watch this. He had a little contact. Hey, that's nice. Way to dip the shoulder.
That's what you teach. You use the shoulder and the elbow.
As long as you don't extend those arms, brother, you got a shot.
Shoulder and elbow, that's what you want. 1:51 to play, 2nd and 10. You see Green's numbers under constant pressure this afternoon. To the sidelines, Hodrick, for just a couple. Guy we saw getting his ankle retaped, caught the ball and caught Greg Williams at almost the same time. You see him hobbling as he comes back to the huddle. It's going to be 3rd and long.
That really hurts him, too. He started off 32 receptions. Real active guy inside.
Quick count. Green looking downfield. Corey Thomas is out there. Touchdown! Corey Thomas beat Dre Bly, and Duke is on the board. 38 yards from David Green to Corey Thomas, and the Duke side re-energized.
Well, he said he wanted it. I think he wants more than that. He wants to get his crowd behind him. Boy, the pass pro was fantastic. There's a drop in the catch, the score, and now the aftermath.
Sims Lenhart on to try the conversion. Duke with 1:23 to play here in the first half has all of a sudden made it a ball game again. Corey Thomas, one of the great receivers in Duke history, he says, I don't want to be 0-11.
Looks like one of the Cameron crazies on that one.
Go down to the field and Mike Hogwood.
Well, coming up at halftime in just a couple of minutes, if we get this exciting first half over with, and it's been a great final 2 minutes, we'll have one of the great catches of the season. And that happened last week. That'll be our play of the week. We'll have our best of the ACC, show you all the statistical leaders, update you on our scores from around the country, games being played this afternoon, and we'll hear from both coaches. It'll be interesting to talk to Mac Brown about his quarterback situation. All that coming up at halftime.
First quarter, Indiana 3, Purdue.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Doc, I think a key there for Duke, they went with the quick count, and that was as much time as David Green has had to throw the ball all day.
Yeah, good point. Also the flag. A flag against Carolina sets this up. Watch that pass protection. Looks like they kind of fan protection to the right. Might have caught Carolina in a stun, and that's just a straight up. I mean, Bly is there, is decent. That's good pass pro. See, they had him in a little fan protection right. And sometimes you just get the right protection called against the right slant. And if you get a good throw and catch, that's the result. Thomas is the guy that might ignite the Blue Devils.
Looked like Omar Brown trying to help out in the play. His angle was off and actually banged into Dre Bly and prevented Bly from maybe recovering to get a piece of the ball.
Stop it. Boy, Green he's been patient.
Only the 4th touchdown pass of the season for David Green. But now Duke feels like it's right back in the football game. Sims Lenhart with a short kick at the 15, Leon Johnson. And he takes it only to the 26-yard line, where Ryan Stallmeyer backup linebacker out of Cincinnati, makes the hit. Carolina with 2 timeouts and 77 seconds left on the clock.
That's the linebacker name.
Stallmeyer.
That's got to make our all-name team right there, Stallmeyer. That's a good linebacker.
As brother Mike was a terrific defensive tackle a couple of years ago here for the Duke Blue Devils. Corey Thomas with the touchdown reception against Dre Bly on his first catch of the day. And let's see if Carolina will put it up or be a little patient and take the 9-point lead into the locker room at halftime. Draw play, a little quick trap, if you will. Chris Watson and Chike Abunaway read it nicely and dropped him right at the line of scrimmage.
Oh, that Abunaway. I go back to that Maryland game. He had one of the great individual efforts that I've seen by a defensive player. I mean, this kid left everything on the field. They came up short, but he came up real large in my mind.
19 tackles that day for the junior out of Dallas, Texas. Clock still running. Duke doesn't have any timeouts left. Again, the running play. Leon Johnson only to the 30 before he shoved back Darius Clark, Billy Granville, and others. And boy, one unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against North Carolina has turned this game around. And doesn't Mac Brown know it?
Yeah, following a great defensive play. That's what really smart. And now you can sense it now. See that little shot that they've been energized now, and they're going after it. And that time you couldn't even see LJ behind that swarm of Duke Blue.
Carolina will not run another play. Duke will get the ball to start the second half, and suddenly the Battle of the Blue is up for grabs here in Durham.
We got a ball game.
First half dominated by Carolina, but a late score by Duke has made it a 9-point bulge as we go to the locker rooms at halftime. Mike Hogwood waits to talk with Mac Brown, and the Carolina coach is down on the field with our Mike Hogwood.
Well, first of all, Coach Brown, I know you're concerned about your quarterback.
Well, it's looked like a pretty tough injury for Chris, and he's had a tremendous year, and I know it's tough for all the players, but what a great year and what a disappointing end for him to his season, and I just hope and pray he's okay.
Duke got a little momentum there at the end of the half. What are you going to tell this team at halftime, second half?
Well, I'm going to tell them that you can't make foolish discipline mistakes like we did on the personal foul over in the corner, because we stopped the drive. We have a chance. We're setting up to take a 1-minute drill back to the other end, but good football teams can't do that and have a chance to win. We're playing with a backup quarterback. He's talented. He hadn't been in a lot of games, so our guys have to protect him. We can't turn it over. Have to do a great job in the kicking game. Continue to play good defense.
All right, thanks. Mac Brown headed to the locker room with his North Carolina Tar Heels, 16-7. North Carolina over Duke, but the Blue Devils in the first half with some momentum. Back with our halftime activities in just a moment.
Today's Exxon ACC Game of the Week is brought to you by your neighborhood Exxon dealers and distributors, who invite you to stop by for a gasoline that helps keep your fuel system clean. Exxon 93 Supreme. Rely on the Tigers. By Winn-Dixie, the low-price leader. By your local Carolina Jeep Eagle dealer. By Duckhead, traditional casual clothing since 1865. Life's a road trip. Pack your Duckheads. By your Carolina Chrysler Plymouth dealers, home of the minivan store. And by Burger King, where you can get your burgers worth.
The team has gone 0-11 in the ACC. Duke does not want that distinction. Head coach Fred Goldsmith down on the field with our Mike Hogwood.
All right, Jack. Fred, you got a momentum there at the end of the first half. You guys had to feel good in the locker room.
Well, some good things finally happened there at the end of the half, Mike. And, our defense playing our hearts out, and our offense finally got something going. Disappointed we didn't get that fourth on the foot. But, hey, that defense playing their fanny off with 5 freshmen out there. And, we made a couple of big mistakes. But the kids are playing hard. But that's what you expect in the Battle of the Blues. You're going to show up at Duke and Carolina, you better come ready to play.
All right, what's your offense going to do in the second half?
There's a few things in the passing game that they haven't covered well yet. If we can just protect it physically, they're good pass rushers. We missed a couple of calls that hurt us, but if we get the things protected, there's a chance, for us to hit some of those balls. And we got to mix the running game a little bit to make them go, too.
All right, as Fred Goldsmith headed back to his team on the sidelines, 16-7, but this Duke team really believes, Jack.
I tell you what, Mike, the momentum going into the locker room when you're going to get the ball to start the second half can mean a great deal.
It's exciting. It really is. Coaches get in and draw that first couple of plays up on the blackboard, and you start to believe that you can win.
Brian Schmitz is back to kick off after the last Carolina kickoff went out of bounds to give Duke good field position. Richmond Flowers, who had a long kick return brought back by a penalty, will try it again. Looking for the wedge, gets it out to the 25-yard line. Brandon Spoon on the hit as we take a look at the keys to the second half from our Doc Walker.
Well, Jack, you look at it for UNC, I say give the ball to LJ. I mean, let's just cut to the chase. With Johnson with the ball in his hands, they've got a much better chance to control this ball game. And for Duke, protect Mr. Green. They give him some time. As Coach Goldsmith said, there are some potential big plays.
Duke, as they do when they start a possession, huddle up on the sidelines with their coaches and come right out on the ball to begin the second half behind David Green. Green 6 of 10 for 86 yards in the touchdown toss to Corey Thomas. Sacked 3 times and pressured throughout. On first down, downfield, has a man open. Big gain on the play to Dominique Fleming. No, make it Mark Wilson who made the catch all the way into Carolina territory. Greg Williams on the hit. But Mark Wilson, the 5th-year senior who has not played a lot this year, makes a big play to start the second half.
Well, you talk about halftime adjustment. This is one of the plays that Coach Goldsmith obviously mentioned when he was talking to Mike Hogwood. We've got some things that we can just protect. Well, the protection was there. Simmons with the blitz. They avoided. Good throw, good catch. And Devils on the roll.
Green changes a play at the line of scrimmage. Carolina with 8 men up close. They give it to Rashid, the fullback, and DeWood gets maybe a yard or so on the play. Get it to the 35. It's a 2-yard pickup. Rick Terry and Vonnie Holliday, the tackles, stuffing the play. I think that's what you'll see in the running game from Duke in the second half, Doc. Lots of quick hitters.
Got to go at it. You can't take a lot of time, Jack. You're going up against Ellis, Holiday, as you mentioned, Terry, Davis, that front 4. Good football players.
Rico Owens, the man in motion. Green looking on the quick slant. Corey Thomas down to the Carolina 25 in front of Robert Williams.
Well, Bly on one play, Williams on the next. Thomas is feeling it right now, and it's contagious because no matter, no telling what he said at halftime, now Green a little more bounce in his step.
Duke trying to close the gap. They trail by 9, but a good drive underway to start the second half. Green on the option. David Green gets it down close to the 20-yard line.
Boy,
Greg Ellis is there along with K. Mays. Gaviusama Mays, the junior out of Anniston, Alabama, leading tackler at more than 100 hits on the year for Carolina.
He had a convoy on that. If he makes that pitch, Melita out front, Wilkes with the reception, and that might have still been running.
But decent production on first down. They get a good solid 3 yards in the play, almost 4. We'll say 4 and make it 2nd and 6. Owens in motion. Blitz on. They pick it up. Mark Wilson inside the 10. Picked up the hot read, slanting right where the linebacker disappeared. Ronald Thomas on the tackle.
Good call, Jack. Hot read. You sense inside, backer comes, receiver breaks off, quarterback puts it right on the money. I mean, that's the way you draw it up. Thousands of receivers and quarterbacks around the country practice it, and that's what it looks like when it works. They got like bumper ball. Hey, where am I at? Carolina said, get out of our space.
First and goal, just inside the North Carolina 10. Green looks, throws it out of the end zone. Corey Thomas broke open late, but Dave Green did the smart thing there to avoid the sack. He was being pressured by James Hamilton.
And I'm sure that Coach Goldsmith could put together a reel of missed opportunities for his ball club this season. They've been down, they've knocked on the door, but never found anyone home. This is a case where if they can put 7 on the board at this point, that's going to be a renewed feeling for the guys over here in Duke Blue.
Hamilton comes out. Reggie Love comes in as an extra defensive back for North Carolina. 2nd and goal. Owens again departs the backfield. And Green gives it to the fullback Rashid, and DeWood takes it down to the 5. Andre Purvis on the hit. It'll be 3rd and goal from there. DeWood Rashid, the sophomore out of Birmingham, Alabama, has seen increased playing time in the latter part of the season.
Well, he's producing, and that's why he's playing more. If you ask me, what's my ideal size for a back, give me a guy 5'11", 225, and he's a tough guy to break down. He has low center of gravity, strong legs. You define young man Rashid. I mean, he is a hoss.
Duke 2 of 7 on 3rd down. Carolina has 9 guys in the line of scrimmage. Slant pattern. Thomas couldn't come up with it. Under the coverage of Robert Williams, Corey Thomas mad at himself. He just couldn't get himself ready to catch the football, and he congratulates Robert Williams on the play.
Yes, good read, good blitz pickup. Rashid, the ball is there. Might have been tipped at the end. Boy, you talk about Williams. These 2 corners, they are great. Watch the extension. Boy, that's good defense. That's good football.
So Sims Lenhart will come on to try and kick a field goal. 23-yard attempt. He sneaks it inside the left upright. And Duke puts points on the board to start the 2nd half. 11.5 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. All of a sudden, the Battle of the Blues is a 6-point ball game. David Green completed 4 passes to take Duke down. Excuse me a second. I will have to tell you first, and I never want to get the golf people mad.
Don't do that.
Today's game brought to you in part by the new Top Flight Tour irons with the muscle shaft.
Might be my only chance of improving my game. He's trying to blow that.
David Green with 4 pass completions. Got it down close for that guy, Sims Lenhart, to kick a field goal and cut Carolina's lead to 6 at 16-10. Leon Johnson awaits the kickoff, and he'll field it at his 6-yard line. Steps around a couple of men, but goes down at the 23. Good pressure downfield by Ryan Jenkins for Duke. And North Carolina, behind quarterback Oscar Davenport, will start inside their 25. Davenport threw only 4 passes in the first half, completed 3 of them. Also, there was a pass of 38 yards by Leon Johnson. All that taking place after Chris Keldorf, the Carolina record-breaking quarterback, left the ball game with an injury. Davenport gives it to Johnson on 1st down. Leon punches it outside and gets close to 1st down yardage. Eric Jones is there to take care of Leon Johnson, but he is close to 1st down yardage.
Good. Baxter, right side of that Carolina line. Now watch the slide. See Mike Baxter there on his knees getting the block. See the sweet feet and the movement. And just like that, you get the ball 10 yards, 9 yards, 10 yards on 1st down.
Now taking a look to see if it is 1st down yardage. They bring the chains over from the far side. Carolina had 10 1st downs in the first half to 5 for Duke. A couple of inches shy. That 3-down play that offensive coordinators love. Love it. Here's Mike Hopgood, one of the guys that Doc talked about in that good Carolina line. And of course, they're without Mr. Hoffman, who was out for the rest of the year, and he was a big factor as well. Byron Thomas is probably going to have a little more football to play after this season, the left tackle.
Yeah, Byron Thomas will have to push law school or pre-med or whatever else off because he's going to be playing on Sundays.
Fumbled snap goes all the way back to the 20-yard line. Johnson covers it from free play to 3rd and long.
He might have got poked in the eye on that one.
Yeah, Darius Clark reaching in to grab the ball, hit Leon Johnson in the face.
You know,
inadvertently, but
yeah. smart thing to just secure the football. How many times have you watched, Jack, somebody come up and try to pick it up and then fumble it and bumble it and lose it?
Well, that ball just shot through Oscar Davenport's legs.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Yep. Looks like it's the left eye that was inadvertently poked, and that's just one more thing that Mack Brown's team has to overcome. They came into this ball game, you had to feel, we talked about it at the start, Doc, a little flat after the disheartening loss to Virginia, particularly with the way that game unfolded. And now here they are, early in the second half in their arch rival battle with Duke, up by just 6 points, and with 2 of their stars now out of the lineup.
One being their field general, quarterback, Kelder, out.
Davenport on the shotgun on 3rd and long. They were 6 out of 9 in the first half. He wants it all to L.C. Stevens. L.C. Stevens. 80 yards, touchdown. That big body pushed off to create the space, and Oscar Davenport laid it out there perfectly.
Well, I don't know what Lamar Grant was looking for. There's Chris cheering on the Tar Heels. You're talking about throwing yourself out of a jam for a moment. Air Carolina was back. Oscar Davenport. Boy, watch your setup on this. Talking about a guy that sets his feet up and launches a rocket.
7th touchdown catch of the season by L.C. Stevens, an 80-yard score. It looks like Carolina's going to go for 2 here. The rule of thumb is when you're up by 12, you go for 2.
And you've memorized all of that. That's impressive.
No, I have a little cheat sheet. I admit that. It says 12 points. Go for 2. Watson and Linton, the split backs behind Oscar Davenport.
That's the left side of Mr. Thomas.
Now he's going to put it up. Lots of time and space. Davenport got it. Oscar Davenport on the 2-point conversion, and the sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida, increases the Carolina lead to 24-10.
Well, Davenport again, last year we were really high on this young man. See, sets up, gets the feet set, throws a rocket launcher. And L.C. Stevens looks back. I don't know what, again, Grant was thinking about. He looked inside, didn't look back. Oh, hey, okay, come on, baby. Come on, Ford.
Well, a guy who almost enjoyed that play as much as Oscar Davenport and L.C. Stevens is quarterback Chris Keldorf, who's down on the field with Mike Hogwood.
This is a great sight for all Carolina, actually for everybody watching this game. Chris Keldorf is here, and as you see, he's got a smile on his face, talking to folks. He's got a cast on that ankle. They'll x-ray it after the game. But right now, the trainers think, as we said earlier, it might just be a dislocation. Certainly, Chris Keldorf looks a lot better now than the last time we saw him in pain lying on the field. But yes, he was the biggest cheerleader of all on that last play.
Well, you need guys to step up and make big plays after the botched snap on 2nd down on 3rd and long. Oscar Davenport with the longest pass completion of his career, the 80-yard pass and run to L.C. Stevens. L.C. now with 119 yards on the day in receptions. Richmond Flowers on the high short kick. Gets it only to the 30-yard line where Reggie Love is there for Carolina. So it goes back to the Blue Devils to try and regain an advantage. Perhaps they thought on 3rd and long.
See the look off. The key about that is Oscar Davenport looks off the free safety. There's so many quarterbacks in this level that don't do that. That's the reason you don't see anybody else in the screen. By the time Jones is able to make it up, it's too late. That's a great play by Oscar Davenport.
Rico Owens goes in motion. Green goes back to pass. Going deep downfield, Corey Thomas broken up again by Robert Williams.
This is fun.
Saved a touchdown before the field goal, and Williams might have done it again on that effort.
This is fun. Kind of feel like you're watching Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders. I mean, two great athletes. You go up, see, that's there. Williams with the great recovery.
Robert Williams has only one interception this year for North Carolina, but he has broken up more passes than any player who has ever worn a Carolina uniform.
Well, I think they robbed him from one. That should be 20. That should be 23.
Green, the slant this time. Rico Owens stopped, and the pass falls incomplete in front of Reggie Love. It'll be 3rd and long.
Pass was intended for Rico Owens, incomplete.
North Carolina trying to finish the regular season at 9-2 and ensure themselves a spot in no worse than the top 15 in the country, and perhaps yet the top 10, depending on how other games shake out. Duke trying to avoid going 0-11 for the first time in their football history. Duke is 2 of 8 on 3rd down today. Bounces off Rashid, he picks it up and gets it out close to the first down. It'll be a yard or maybe 2 shy of a first down. That was a fortunate bounce for Duke. Rick Terry and Omar Brown on the hit, and Duke will have to punt.
Well, the coaches must have made the remark from the last time how they had some grass open. You're right. Lucky bounce to save the very least on that one. Concentration the key. Rashid is able to maintain that and keep the play alive.
Ray Bly will go back into the punt. We'll try and get an update on Leon Johnson. He was poked in the eye. Bly calls for the fair catch and fumbles it. Got it back. And it'll be dead at the 19-yard line.
Carolina flirting with disaster.
9:12 to play here in the 3rd quarter. North Carolina up by a couple of touchdowns. Mac Brown's Carolina Tar Heels leading by 14 as they'll start this drive back on their own 19-yard line. Chris Watson and Jonathan Linton will be the running backs for Oscar Davenport on first down. Jones, the tight end, shifted from left to right. Toss to Linton. Turns the corner and gets good yardage all the way out to the 26-yard line. Linton in the lineup because Leon Johnson was poked in the eye. Let's get an update on his condition from Mike Hogwood.
Jack, it's not serious. The trainers have just cleared Leon to go back into the game. I think they kind of want to hold him out for a series and make sure he can see all right, but he's smiling and joking over here on the sidelines. You'll see number 12 again today.
Was it the left eye, Mike?
It was the left eye, yes.
That Hogwood, man, full coverage guy. Full coverage guy.
7-yard pickup for Jonathan Linton. He'll get the call again and get first down yardage and more, but hang on, a flag on the play on the far side. Thrown by one of the linesmen, so we'll see what the infraction might be. Terry McCauley, our referee this afternoon. No flag on the play. Apparently it was not a problem, and North Carolina gets a first down. David Green, the Duke quarterback, looking things over on the play chart. Hopes his defense can force a turnover, but awful tough against this Carolina team that has committed only 12 turnovers all year, while forcing 34. Davenport to put it up and has his man. Nay Brown up the sidelines into Duke territory at the 34-yard line. Eric Jones took it out of bounds, but Brown, the sophomore from Reedsville, tacks up 36 yards in the play, but hang on. We have another flag in the Carolina backfield.
That really disrupts your rhythm, man, offensively. It's just hard to... recapture that momentum.
Plus, it's from the spot of the foul.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, spot of the foul, still first down.
And the penalty was back on the 28. Let's see if you can see it in the lower part of the screen.
Yeah, back.
Good tackle.
Yeah, well, you know what? And I say to Mike, hey, you got to do what you got to do. You don't have a backup quarterback. Mike understands. He knows the game. You're trying to redshirt a young man, so, hey, I've got to protect my quarterback.
Takes it back to the 18-yard line. It will make it first down and about 25, almost. Let's call it 24. We'll call it 25. You say 24. It's first down. Thank you. And Davenport, little swing pass out of the backfield to Linton. He is out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. Chike Abunawe spun him out of bounds.
Davenport continues to show us different ranges in his passing. He's shown us the long bomb. He's thrown the inside crossing routes. Now he shows us a nice touch on the flare.
Out of Osceola High School in St. Petersburg. Before the knee injury, Doc, I think most people made the assumption that Oscar would be directing the attack for Carolina.
I thought he would.
As we said, the knee injury against Clemson forced Carolina to go out and find a replacement, and Chris Keldorf was masterful this year. But now he's hurt, so Davenport takes his place. Throwing deep for Octavius Barnes. He can't get to it.
Well, McCormick is partly responsible for Davenport rushing the throw. It had been a while, rather, for Duke to get a little pressure on the quarterback. And they continue to fight. A little slip there. Then he sets up and
a ball more than 50 yards in the air by Oscar, but just beyond the reach of Octavius Barnes.
He can toss it. Big O has an arm.
5 of 7, 120 yards, including the 80-yard bomb to Danae Brown. 3rd and 21. The touchdown came on a 3rd and 13. Goes to Stevens again, and he gets it to the 30. I said the bomb to Danae Brown. The touchdown was to L.C. Stevens. Lamar Grant this time ensured that L.C. didn't run by him. And for only 2 penalties on the day, they have been very costly to Carolina. Kept alive a Duke touchdown drive and changed the whole momentum of this series, bringing in Derek DePriest to punt it away to Adam Geis.
Into punt.
A 45-yarder among the 2 hit by DePriest in the first half. 10 on the line of scrimmage for Duke. And they are coming. DePriest got it off. Geis makes the catch and goes down, but good field position for Duke at their 42-yard line. 30-yard punt under duress by Derek DePriest. 6:55 to play here in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back after this word from our local ACC stations. Back here at Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. North Carolina with the edge on Duke, but Duke giving the Heels all they want, and they have good field position to start this drive at their own 42-yard line. David Green, play action, in trouble. Gets it off to nobody.
Boy, is he lucky. And lucky.
Now, flag down at the end of the play, and I think they're going to call intentional grounding. They do. Terry McCauley threw the flag at the 34-yard line. Brian Simmons was bearing down on David Green.
Intentional grounding on the offense. 5 yards, spot of the foul, loss of down, 2nd down.
So it ends up costing Duke not only the down, but 13 yards of turf as well, and it'll be 2nd and 23.
And it's consistent with what David has done all day. He's got to pull the trigger. I mean, you only have so much time going against this Carolina pass rush, and for some reason he has not speeded up his internal clock.
Again, Carolina showing a lot of people close to the line of scrimmage. And they come again, picked up this time. They get it off to Corey Thomas. Nearly slipped out of the tackle of Kay Mays. Picks up 5 on the play. But it'll be 3rd and 17.
And that's the rhythm of passing you have to employ going against the Tar Heels. Call it West Coast offense style or not, but you've got to get back, hit the last punt, boom, get the ball out. If not, you're going backwards. And I don't know how much more you need to see to be convinced of that.
Gerald Ford comes in at tight end. Opelenick and Wilkes also come into the lineup. Wilkes the setback. Green to pass. Gets it off quickly to Wilkes, but he'll go down in the backfield. Great upfield penetration by Keith Newman, the sophomore outside linebacker. Drops Wilkes for a loss of a couple as Greg Ellis was bearing down on the backside of David Green.
We saw Brandon Spoon to back up. Now you see Keith Newman, another guy that will be starting for most programs. Done. I mean, they have just a plethora of linebackers that can all run and can hit you.
Kruger with the wind to his back, flag down on the play as Bly never saw the punt. It bounces and is covered at the Carolina 25. Trey Bly looking up right into the sun. Let's go back and see what the penalty flag is all about. Offsides on Carolina. And Fred Goldsmith down here is signaling to decline it because you had a pretty good punt.
Yeah, very good. Good bounce, good punt.
As John Kruger hit a punt that finally died at the 26-yard line. It was a 40-yard punt.
Well, that was a series of Fred's guys really needed to hold that football.
And they will decline it. The 40-yard punt with no return. So Carolina will have it with 5:25 to play here in the third quarter, back at its own 25-yard line.
Trying to hold serve. At this point, you know, Carolina is a bomb, is a time bomb, just ticking away. Any moment, you know that with that kind of talent, they're going to explode for a big one, and then it'll be very difficult for Duke to recover.
Other scores in the final big weekend of college football action. Uh-oh. The horseshoe. Michigan trying to do it to John Cooper in Ohio State again. First down toss. Jonathan Linton got back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Ryan McCormick, Kevin Lewis, Chike Abunawe, and a host of others. Georgia Tech has rallied to take the lead. NC State with the advantage over at Carter Finley. Georgia Tech needs to knock off Navy and then beat Georgia to keep its bowl hopes alive after the upset loss at Maryland. Maryland will be playing Florida State later on today, and then Clemson at 5:30, the rest of the ACC schedule. Huddle clock down to 5 as Carolina shifts in the backfield, and Davenport, short drop, finds L.C. Stevens. L.C. will be a yard shy of a first down. Billy Granville on the hit. Very quickly, Oscar Davenport and L.C. Stevens finding a lot in common.
Yeah, those two guys are good ones. That Lewis, great range, outside backer for the Devils. He nearly made a play.
Quickly down to the field, and Mike Hogwood.
Well, Leon Johnson will get back in the game shortly. They're trying to put one of those sunshades on his helmet. They're having some trouble getting it on. As soon as they do that, number 12 will be back in the lineup.
I'd have one of those every down if I was Leon Johnson.
Third and a long yard for Carolina. Lint dives forward and has the first down. Chris Combs tried to prevent it, but Linton at 245 pounds stretched that ball past the front marker to keep the drive alive.
One of those guys, those perfect running back dimensions by my standard, 6'1". He might be a little tall, 245.
Yeah, but he's got 20 more pounds, so I mean, it's spread out about the same.
But I don't want those guys a little squatty. And if you got to come up and you're a cornerback and you've got to hit one of those guys, you start to question why you're playing defense.
Twin receivers to Davenport's left as Linton goes in motion. And Oscar will put it up out of the backfield. McGregor, the fullback. Pretty nice catch by Maurice, the fifth-year senior out of Marietta, Georgia. Whacked down by Ryan Stallmeyer and Darius Clark, but picked up about 3 on the play.
McGregor trying to work to build his pass receiving stats up from 1 to 2. Yeah, to 2. Holding on for dear life.
Important for Carolina right now, keeping the ball in play, inbounds, keep that clock moving with 2:50 to play here in the third quarter. Flint leaps forward to about the 45-yard line. It'll set up another third down play. Eric Scanlon, Billy Granville there.
You know, you pick up a film and you watch Duke play, and if you don't know about the underclassmen and the numbers that they have, you just don't. They don't look like a team that hasn't won a ball game.
Well, they've had some tough losses. Wake Forest, Maryland, a game we televised earlier in the season. Third and short, they're 8 out of 12 on third down. And Davenport will throw it. And it was nearly picked off by Ryan Stallmeyer as they tried to run a little quick pop to Freddie Jones.
Boy, Stallmeyer nearly made the highlights, and I mean nationally, because that might have been a little pitch and catch. Big action there.
The Duke defense holds again, and they force another Derek DePriest punt. Dice back at his 15 for Duke. Brandon Pollock nearly blocked the last one. They have a return on this time, but DePriest hit it off the side of his foot, and it will stop at the Blue Devil 24-yard line with 1:53 to play here in the third period. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of the broadcast without the express permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Our final telecast of our ACC schedule here in '96. We hope you've enjoyed the action. We've had some good football throughout the year, and got just an outstanding production staff that gets these games to you every week. Marshall, the man in motion. Wilkes, the ball carrier. Over the 30 to about the 31, Keith Newman, James Hamilton, Greg Williams.
Stop by James Hamilton.
Oh, Wilkes has a little slam in his game. 185-pounder, but he can run between the tackles. Keeps you square. That's the thing that's so amazing about, you know, Barber and Warwick Dunn and some of the backs that we've watched, CJ and with Tech, guys that can run between the tackles.
Good block by center John Gordon to create a crease for Wilkes. On second down, Latavius gets it again, tried to cut it back, and Keith Newman, who is considered a fourth starter by the Carolina defensive coaching staff, making some big plays. It'll be a third down, but a flag will keep it at second down and back up Duke, because I think we have a holding call.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards, still second down.
You know, we talk a lot about the youth of Duke. How about Carolina? You know, Hamilton's gone. Newman steps right in. Mays, Simmons back. Those two werewolves at the corner spot. I mean,
well, they hope they can hold on to all those guys.
Yeah, well, that's what you hope. Yeah, well, hey, Mac Brown will be selling. Hey, guys, I'm enjoying it. How about you?
Carolina showing blitz. Green nearly fell. Goes 3 to the tight end 4. Great open field tackle made by Trey Bly. Ends up being a 4-yard gain on what could have been a big play for Duke.
Yeah, good call. Really good call. Coach Beckett's right call for the right time. What you don't count him for is a missed block outside. Chapel misses a block, and Blake comes up with a big hit, hammer hit.
Got great speed. He's the whole package at that cornerback spot. 5'10", 190-pounder. Blue Devils have not had much success on third down. Reggie Love comes into the ball game as an extra defensive back. Green to Corey Thomas. Off his hands. It would have been well short of a first down anyhow.
Yeah. A little too much mustard on it, but it doesn't matter if you come up short anyway. That is the responsibility of the receiver to pick up the necessary yardage.
Seventh punt of the afternoon upcoming from John Kruger, who is averaging almost 44 yards a kick. And oh, did he hit this one? Wow. Leon Johnson back at his 12. Broke a couple of tackles and got it to the 23. "54-yard punt by John Kruger on the final play of the third quarter. Carolina on top. Carolina with the lead as we head into the fourth quarter here at Wallace Wade Stadium. And for John Kruger, I want to apologize. My math was bad. Give him 10 more yards on that punt. A 64-yard punt by John Kruger. That's not even his longest of the year. He's hit a 67-yarder this season.
Oh, your first mistake in 12 weeks, Corrigan. Not bad. How about that?
Or at least in the last 10 seconds. Leon Johnson on first down, trying to find running room and nothing doing. Chike Abunaway leading the charge for the Duke defense. Leon Johnson back in the ball game after being poked in the eye. Let's look at our stats through 3 quarters of play, brought to you by Discus Athletic. The advantage still strongly in the Carolina column, but tip your hat to a game Duke defense here, making it tough on Carolina. Their lone score in the second half, the 80-yard bomb to L.C. Stevens on a long yardage play. They find it Nay Brown this time for a first down in front of Lamar Grant. Kevin Lewis also there. The Duke coaching staff will tell you an area that they feel they have to work on. Some of it will come with experience with their youngsters, but they say we have to be more athletic at the cornerback spot.
Well, when you look at the type of player that you have to face in this conference alone, you do. You have to get guys that can go out and get the jump pass, and they can play the run at the corner spot, and that's not easy to get.
Davenport to Johnson, trying to turn the corner. Tawambi settles, slowed him up, but Leon still leans forward out to the 45. Eric Jones cleaned it up. Leon Johnson, you can see as he comes out of the pile, wearing the visor to make sure he doesn't get poked in the eye again.
A lot of skilled guys don't like it, but I'd sure fight them as a coach. I'd say, guys, at least let's try it. Because, boy, for running backs especially, if you're poked in the eye, I'm surprised more guys aren't poked in the eye more often.
Johnson 61 yards unofficially on the day. Second and short for Carolina. Leon, first down and more. Leon Johnson trying to tie an ACC record. Well, it'll take one more play at least. Brought down on the 5 by Tawambi, settles after a 52-yard run.
It's the visor.
Well, you know why? Because when you wear that visor, you go,
yeah. It takes you off.
No. It's like Darth Vader. You go,
oh, maybe they can't see it now. Yeah. Good up front, too. I mean, Carolina, this is the knockout punch. I mean, this is a good football team, and then you take away last week, and this is a team that was as good as anybody in the country, and now they're showing you why.
First and goal. Johnson goes over 100 yards on the day with the run. Gets the call here, looking for his 51st touchdown as a Tar Heel. Billy Granville keeps him out of the end zone. He broke Ted Brown's all-purpose yardage mark earlier in this game. Leon Johnson can tie Ted Brown's 51 touchdown in a career mark with a score here. And you know that Carolina offensive line want to have that guy get the record.
Well, if I'm Chris Rusick right now, 96 to the Devils, I'm going to anchor myself in the turf.
Watson in motion. Johnson the call. Stacked up at the goal line, did not get in.
Key breaker. They went right.
Kevin Lewis able to keep Johnson one bounce shy of the end zone.
Time to go airborne. Get fire in time.
Yeah, they're mad.
Yeah. Thanksgiving coming around the corner. Can you imagine having to feed that offensive line, Carolina?
I think you could say that about almost any Division I offensive lineman in the country.
Yeah, but that
the
group
boys
there,
know how to eat.
I bet the new alums lining up to feed that group on Thanksgiving.
3rd and goal. Davenport on the sneak. No signal yet. He did not get in.
No, that'll be all on Mark because it wasn't on momentum.
And it'll be 4th down. Chris Keldorf injured in the first half, hurt his left ankle. X-rays will come after the ball game. It's 4th down. Of course, Keldorf at 250 pounds was a good guy for the quarterback sneak. Davenport only goes 190.
Yeah, big difference. But I go LJ up and over.
4th and goal. Huddle clock down to 5. Johnson did not get in. Did not get in. The Duke defense holds. Kevin Lewis and Billy Granville.
Man, you talk about guts. That is payback. Duke was stopped earlier. And now the Blue Devils come back and they deny the Tar Heels. Watch it. Boy, look at Granville. Look at the hit. He slows it down. There's the top off. Boy, that has a boot away. And company make it happen.
Eric Jones on the top, but the guy at the bottom, Billy Granville, started it. There's his dad. In his final Duke game, Billy Granville trying to keep the hopes alive for Duke with a gallant goal line stand.
You'll never forget it. You'll never, ever forget that moment. Win, lose, or draw, this Duke defense has left nothing on the field.
99.9 yards to go for David Green and the Duke offense. Now we're going to get a delay of game call. I don't know where they can move the ball.
There you go.
Watch it now. Let's see what they do. I think they kind of put their hand on the ball and say, okay. Let's see, there are 14 blades of grass between the nose of the ball and the goal line. So we'll move it back 7 blades, and it's 1st and 10.7 blades. Marshall and Wilkes will be the running backs for David Green. And he's going to put it up and has Corey Thomas for a 1st down. Robert Williams on the hit, but it's a gain of 13.
Now what chance of bad play? Get back. Let Green throw his way out. An offensive line stout up front. Tar Heels with the submarine technique up front. Thomas. Good stick, good stick.
Scotty Montgomery, number 33, lining up the tailback. They've thrown the ball to him in this kind of situation in motion. But they go back to Corey Thomas. He has running room. Corey Thomas out of bounds at the 35-yard line. The ball actually popped out back at about the 34. Keith Newman on the hit, but it's another Duke 1st down.
Thomas shaking and baking. That Green gets set. Real nice set. Whips it out. Now watch this. So you don't coach that. That's kind of like, oh no, you don't have a shot at me. And Robert Williams is an excellent cornerback. But how do you stop it? You don't.
Keith Newman bounced back up and made a good play. They mark it at the 33, 1st down for Duke. Montgomery out of the backfield has to short hop the ball, and it'll be incomplete.
For Montgomery, incomplete.
Russell Davis making his presence noted for Carolina. Big number 96 who stepped in for Mike Pringley today. Pringley out, and Russell Davis has got himself on film and played well. I mean, these guys play a lot because they rotate defensive linemen, and they're all big and strong and fast and quick in the whole bit.
But Davis was the starter last year, and Pringley's been the starter this year. 9:51 to play. 2nd and 10. Bootleg. Green broken up. Great play by Brian Simmons, because they had a wall of blockers for Latavius Wilkes.
The penetration really hurts that play. You want to disguise it, but when you get a bull rusher, that time Davis with the bull rush, Brian Simmons out of New Bern, North Carolina, just cat quick, has real good feel for things.
Over 200 tackles in Simmons' career. He's a redshirt junior. Fleming and Thomas go left. Ford, the tight end, on the right side, and Montgomery in motion to the right. Blitz is on, and Green will go down. Greg Ellis and Russell Davis, along with Brian Simmons, drop David Green back at the 30-yard line, and Duke will have to punt away the ball.
And that drive was all Davis all of the time. In the secondary, they took what Green wanted to do away. And again, every time he holds the ball, we'll take it first.
John Kruger to punt it again. Carolina with 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Kruger into the wind this time. Johnson will field it at his 28-yard line. Chike Abunaway and Ryan Stolmeyer get him at the 32. A couple of ticks more than 9 minutes to play in this one. North Carolina trying to hang on in their battle with Duke. Duke's defense will have to come up big again if they want to keep their upset hopes alive. Carolina will try and grind away the clock by keeping possession of that football. They have it just outside their own 30-yard line for Oscar Davenport. Leon Johnson gets the call, runs into Billy Granville, and Chike Abunaway picks up a couple on the play. Johnson nearing 130 yards on the day and 900 yards on the season. And considering how many more times Carolina has thrown the ball this year, to even be close to 1,000 is another significant year for Mr. Johnson. Came in averaging only 20 carries a ball game. Play action this time for Davenport. Steps up and now will run. Slides down 2 yards shy of a first down. You know if they told Oscar to slide.
I think after last year, I don't think you get to tell Oscar to do anything. I mean, he knows what it's like to go through rehabilitation with the knee. He went down real quick.
Be 3rd and 2. And closer to a long one, we'll say. Carolina just about their seasonal average on 3rd down. Davenport to Johnson, first down as Leon leans out close to the 44-yard line. Darius Clark is there. Chains move ahead. Clock will pick up again with 7:45 and counting to play here in the 4th period. Both teams with all their timeouts left. Johnson first over the right side. Tripped up by Eric Jones, but close to first down yardage again for Leon Johnson. And my guess will be Leon will carry the ball more today than he has in any other game here in '96.
Now they're a different football team when they really get down and start specializing the run. Big blocks up front. They Saturday to center with a nice off block on them. When you got a guy like Johnson who can consume the clock, he's the ideal 4th quarterback.
And was inches shy of it being 10, so it'll only go as officially 9 yards for Johnson. Unofficially, Leon with 144 yards. I love that tattoo on who is that?
Ellison.
Ellison.
Yeah, heel hogs.
freshman out of Winston-Salem.
Little guy, only 300 pounds.
Davenport will sneak it ahead inside the Duke 45 for another Carolina first down. Chike Egbunaway with his 15th tackle of the afternoon. Unofficially, he's over 100 tackles on the year. 5.5 a carry, 2 touchdowns, a 52-yard run, 38-yard halfback pass as well for Mr. Johnson. Setting the ACC all-purpose yardage mark and 1 touchdown shy of equaling another conference milestone. Johnson, Leon Johnson, inside the 35. Eric Jones stopped another big gain, but it's still 14 for Leon Johnson.
Stopped by Jones for the Blue Devils.
Every time you watch this guy, you think, well, we've seen that, and he can't surpass that, and he surpasses it. And then he's still got to fight his guts out to be all conference.
Tough in this league with Warwick Dunn, Raymond Priester, Tiki Barber, and Leon Johnson. They said it was a year of the tailback, C.J. Williams. Johnson again on the toss this time. Leaping through tackles. Takes what might have been a loss and gets it 7 yards downfield.
They just spread this 2-back offense. Again, watching the big fullback. This young man is able to accelerate and see things. He has great vision watching the battering ram. And you put Watson and Johnson. Pretty good combination.
Johnson again. Shooter bucks his way to another Carolina first down at the 20-yard line. Well, you don't hear much about the Carolina fullbacks in terms of running ability. Watch the play again.
Yeah, that's another one. In-your-face block. See? I mean, that's just what a back wants. That's what you want as a tailback. Give me a shot. He gives him more than a shot. He gives him movement.
But you look at guys like Mike Fulkerson in the NFL, William Henderson in the NFL. Timeout on the field with 5.5 to play, and Carolina assuming control.
And O's in that timeout at all. Fred Goldsmith turned his hat around backwards on his head and really challenged this defense. Challenged him to get in there and hit somebody, to play all out and lay it on the line right here. Jack?
Well, Mike, they are running out of time. They know they have to come up with some kind of turnover to keep their upset hopes alive. Jonathan Linton now in the ball game at tailback. Billy Granville finally able to stack him up.
Man, that was rough. That was nice.
Now, after the slash and dash of Leon Johnson, you get the thugging and mugging of Jonathan Linton.
No, you do. And that's tough for defenders to make that adjustment and then realize that you got a different guy with a lower center of gravity and about 35 pounds on that body.
6-yard pickup. Use as much of the huddle clock as you can. Linton on the toss this time. Good cutback, and he is close to first down yardage. Granville had him cut off, and Linton slashed back inside to pick up the first down.
And Eric Jones got a ride.
Eric Jones, the freshman out of Belmead, who has not played a lot until the last couple of weeks. He is into double figures in tackles today. Young man who they like his potential for the years to come.
It reminds me of, in some cases, that Maryland defense that was really young some years back and made a turnaround and played awful well this year at times.
They can get a first down inside the 1. Keep in mind, Carolina was stopped on a 4th and goal try on their last possession. Linton has Darius Clark coming up. Chris Combs on the bottom. A couple of tough yards there for Linton, but the clock is down to about 4 minutes. There's Jeff Saturday, one of the best centers in the country, anchoring the heel hogs, as they like to call themselves. Leon Johnson back into the lineup for Carolina. Biggest of the Hogs, Byron Thomas, number 75, right in the bottom corner there on the left side. Johnson met in the backfield by Chris Combs. Well, you know there's athleticism in the family tree. His daddy, Glenn, basketball player in the Old American Basketball Association.
Well, Combs has had more than his share of plays today. Getting off blocks, spacing up. I mean, this is the way you stop it. You know, Carolina wants to make this happen. Look at the difference in rushing yards. But what Carolina wants now is Johnson to get a score.
Now, the problem now is get somebody to get a score. This second time they've been stacked up. Actually, the third time they've been stacked up down in the red zone. Davenport for the end zone for Leon Johnson. And he is kept out by Billy Granville. It'll be 4th down, and record or not, Mac Brown knows he needs points to make it more than a 2-touchdown advantage, and he'll send out the field goal unit.
Well, nice tackle by Granville. I mean, he at that point, I mean, you're going against a guy like Johnson who is elusive to say the very least, and he makes people miss, and Granville stuck it.
Tough angle for Josh McGee, a left-footed kicker, although it matches the way the ball will hook for him since he's left-footed. And he gets it through his second field goal of the afternoon. And the Carolina lead grows to 17 with just over 2 minutes to play in this one. North Carolina minutes away from going 9-2 for 1996. Now the Duke Blue Devils will need a miracle finish to avoid their first winless season. They have never gone 0 for the year, and there has never been an ACC team that has gone 0-11. But they knew the challenge would be tough against highly touted North Carolina. Chris Welch with the short kick off the shoulder pads of Rashid to Richmond Flowers, who was able to field it at the 23-yard line. Advance Auto Parts, proud to be a corporate donor to the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. This fall, Advance Auto Parts stores throughout the southeastern region of the U.S. raised over $600,000 to fight the disease. Today, we'd like to salute the South Bragg Boulevard store in Spring Lake, North Carolina, for its efforts in this fight. Advanced Auto Parts and the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, together walking for the cure. 2:04 to go for Duke to try and find some way to score 18 points, or at least 17 to get it to overtime. David Green, under duress, gets the ball off for a pickup of a couple. They say that Dominique Fleming did not get, or Rico Owens was the guy actually who caught the ball, did not get out of bounds. So the clock rolls. Go in your no huddle look.
Find Montgomery.
Looking for Corey Thomas, and he's got it in front of Dre Bly for a first down. The clock will stop as they move the chains. 18-yard completion out to the 44-yard line. 1:33 to play. Corey Thomas.
Gain of 16 on the play.
Good battle today with Dre Bly and Robert Williams.
Yeah, this has been really entertaining to watch these guys play.
Thomas again. No, Rico Owens up the sidelines. Stepped out of bounds back at the 34-yard line of Carolina, but it's another first down.
A little no huddle action. What they've been able to do is get the safeties outside. This is by spreading the formation and going up against these guys in man and playing against Brown and Williams as opposed to going against Robert Williams and Ray Bly.
First down for Duke at the Carolina 34. 1:24 to play. Green gets rid of it in a hurry. Corey Thomas and Dre Bly, and they're going to throw the flag on Dre Bly, who was hanging on to Corey. You can see the jersey pulled off the shoulder pad, the left shoulder of Corey Thomas. Now is it holding or pass interference?
Trey goes, what are you talking about?
You can see the pad flapping. That was from early on.
Pass interference on the defense. 15 yards, previous spot. First down.
Takes it down to the 19-yard line. First down. You see Dre Boy, what did I do?
Trey says, I have a 5-yard area in which I can make contact.
David Green, 226 yards through the air today, and the touchdown toss to Corey Thomas. Wants to get another one on the board. Flowers, Fleming, and Wilson left. Opelemic and Thomas to the right. The empty backfield behind David Green. Here comes the Tar Heel rush. Green trying to buy some time, gets it off complete to Opelemic at the 15-yard line. Picked up about 4 on the play in front of Greg Williams. Joe Opelemic, the junior out of Warwicksburg, Pennsylvania, in Pottsville High School.
I don't think David realized how fast he could run. But just the mere thought of those Tar Heels chasing him. And that's a good throw on the run. Good feet. Watch the feet. That's not easy to do, folks.
Same offensive alignment. Pumps once, now throws behind Dominique Fleming. David almost anticipated more pressure than he really faced.
Got caught up on the double clutch.
Out of a great high school program, West Charlotte High School. Still alive in the North Carolina State High School playoffs this year. 1:08 to play on the clock. Important for Duke right now. It's 3rd and 5. Green with time to the end zone for Thomas. Just too long.
Green's pass was intended
Omar
for
Brown
Thomas.
and Robert Williams on the double team, and Corey Thomas had a shot, just ran out of end zone.
Yeah, he waited on it. He needed to throw that one a little sooner. Couldn't get to it. Had Mark Wilson open on the inside on a corner. They'll communicate that and get it down, and we'll see if they can get Wilson involved.
Well, on what could be their final offensive play of the season, Duke will call a timeout here on 4th down to try and set up a play. And the dilemma for the staff, as you look at other scores in college football, do you go for the end zone or do you go for the first down?
Well, if you get a read route, and hopefully you can get it where you get a guy in the end zone and you get a guy beyond the first down marker, and you can keep.
How about that score? Wow.
Are you surprised?
No, because that somehow in that rivalry right now, John Cooper, for all his great work, has struggled to beat Michigan. 1-6-1 going into today's game. You see Tech leading and NC State trying to win again in the conference. Arkansas with the early lead in the SEC. Got to expect Mississippi State to be a little flat after upsetting Alabama.
Well, it's Ohio State with Michigan. That is really hard to comprehend year in and year out with those great football teams.
Down in the Horseshoe in Columbus. Carl Torbush, the defensive coordinator, sending the signal down to his other defensive coaches. Here's the 4th down play. Rico Owens goes in motion. Green to throw to the end zone for Wilson. He couldn't get the ball under the coverage of Robert Williams.
Intended for Wilson.
And Duke will turn the ball over to North Carolina.
That was the guy. He was open on the prior play. They communicated it, saw it, changed it up a little bit, turned the post into a corner, and took a shot at it.
Robert Williams and Reggie Love defending, and perhaps another snapshot of the year offensively for Duke, where they can move the ball at times, but really struggle to put points on the board.
Yeah, the red area, it kills them. But boy, they had some spurts, and I do believe that there's a solid enough foundation to build on this, and that youth will come back next year and bite a lot of people in the ACC.
And North Carolina will finish the regular season allowing 110 points in 11 ball games, the best in the country.
Masterful.
Congratulations to Mack Brown, his defensive staff, headed up by Carl Torbush, people like Ron Case and others, and the work by first-year offensive coordinator Greg Davis to kick the offense in gear. Carolina would love to play that Virginia game again, but it doesn't diminish a terrific season in Chapel Hill.
I'd love to have FSU on ground, on dry ground, but it doesn't go that way.
That will be the final snap of the ball game. Oscar Davenport gets the win in relief out of the bullpen for the injured Chris Keldorf, as Mack Brown will go across the field to talk to Fred Goldsmith. Duke finishes the year winless for the first time in its history, but this is a Duke team that down the road, maybe as early as next year down the road, will be a team to be reckoned with in the ACC, as the Tar Heels for the 7th straight year maintain ownership of the Victory Bell. Go down to the field, Mack Brown's with Mike Hogwood.
Well, we're here with Mack Brown, and Coach, I know you got to be happy with this season, 9-2, tremendous year.
Well, Mike, I'm really happy. What a great year for a team that was seeded probably 4th coming into the league, and we felt like that this would be a tough game for us with them being 0-10 coming in. We knew our kids had to play hard, and then all of a sudden you get Chris Keldorf's injury, and you say, what in the world here at the end of the year? But Oscar Davenport stepped in and played so well, and I was so pleased with that last drive offensively. I knew we were good on defense, and we took the chance to get the ball in the end zone there. We're just 2 scores up, and then they kind of slipped out on us, but the offense surely responded and took it the length of the field to win the game.
And how about Leon Johnson? Leon with a couple more touchdowns today. He set the ACC all-time record for all-purpose yards. I know his coach is proud.
Well, he is proud, and I can tell you that Leon's been a great young man for us. He's a tremendous representative for the University of North Carolina, and we're really going to miss him. Thank goodness we've got one more game with him.
You do. You're going to go to a bowl game somewhere, and any preference at all? I know you said you've never been to a bad one. I always remember that quote.
Mike, I really haven't, and these kids deserve it because they've worked hard, and they've played so well every week, and as I said, there's not a bad one. Gene Corrigan, the league, put us in some good bowls, and we'll enjoy going wherever we're wanted.
And finally, these Duke games are never easy.
Golly, I'm telling you, I keep thinking, you know, I felt pretty good, and then Chris breaks his ankle or has the injury, and then all of a sudden when that ball slipped out of our center's hand and ran by when we were in some trouble, I said, I'm not sure about this deal over here, but this is one of the better wins we've had over here because we know how hard it is to play, and give Duke credit because they played really, really hard.
Mack, congratulations on a great season for North Carolina.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, the Tar Heels wind up the regular season 9-2. Let's go back upstairs now, Jack Corrigan.
All right, Mike. And one of the traditions at Duke, win or lose, you finish the activity on the turf at Wallace Wade with the alma mater and the salute from the players. It's the traditions that make college football the great sport that it is. And whether you're 11-0 or 0-11, it's a unique opportunity to play college football. We'll be back with more from Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina, where Duke falls to the Tar Heels. Carolina finishes the regular season at 9-2 with a 27-10 win over the Duke Blue Devils. Let's take a look at our Food Lion MVPs for this ball game, and there were stars aplenty on both sides of the football. Leon Johnson gets the honor for North Carolina as he set one ACC mark and had a great game, his best rushing game of the year. And Billy Granville closes out his Duke career with another sterling effort. And our congratulations to both those young men. And we've got one of them down on the field right now with Mike Hogwood.
We sure do, Jack. Leon Johnson, great game today. Couple of touchdowns. I know you wanted to get one more, but good grief, this team comes in against Duke, your final game against Duke, and you have a marvelous effort. Congratulations.
Thank you. We went out and we played hard, and we wanted to win this football game, and I think as a team we accomplished a lot of things this season.
What about the eyes? Little red looking at it from here. I know you put the guard on your face mask there.
Just a poke in my eye, and just to protect it from the sun because, you know, from the sun, the glare that I had. We just put a little mask on it, and I went back out there and went to work.
You came here out of Morganton High School, a quarterback, not knowing you'd be a running back in college, and here you've accomplished all these things. You're the ACC's all-time, all-purpose yardage leader. Look back on that career. It's been something, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a long road, but I enjoyed it every bit, and it's sad because I had to end my last game today, but, you know, I'm proud of myself for what I accomplished, and I think my teammates would be proud of me, and you know, I'm proud of them for letting me be the person I am right now, and I just be able to one day just sit back and relax and just look at all this and just think how well our team was back when we played.
When your quarterback went down today, Chris Keldorf, it looked like you took some more of that weight on your shoulders. You really ran determined. You knew that the offense counted on you big time today.
Well, we needed someone to make some plays, be a playmaker in the huddle, and we had to lift Oscar up when Keldorf went down, so Coach Brown went upon myself and gave me the ball, and I just went out there and I just played as hard as I could, and I just got yards.
And you guys do have confidence in Oscar Davenport. I thought he did well coming in.
Oh, yeah, Oscar, he stepped up today, and he hit some really key passes, and he played with a lot of poise and a lot of confidence in himself, and I think that's what we needed when Keldorf went down. I think Oscar did a great job.
Well, I know for a Carolina football player, nothing feels better than a win over Duke, right?
It feels good. You know, finally, it's all over, and we won the state championship 4 times in a row, and our team is proud for that, but you know, to win our last regular season game, you know, that's something to remember.
All right, Leon, we'll let you head to the locker room now. Leon Johnson, one of our MVPs today, and certainly a great career at the University of North Carolina. Jack?
Indeed, Mike, and a career, Doc, that is not going to end after the bowl game. There's a lot more football left in Leon Johnson's life.
Every time I watch him play, I think of Chuck Foreman. That used to be with the Minnesota Vikings. A big guy that could catch it, could run it, and do it all, an all-purpose specialist.
Well, indeed, Leon Johnson, our congratulations on a great game. We'll be back to wrap up our season of ACC football coverage here with Jefferson Pilot Sports. North Carolina beat Duke today. Back after this word from your local ACC station. There you see our final score as North Carolina finishes the year at 9-2. Duke, for the first time in its football history, goes winless in the 27-10 loss. But Doc, when you look at the play from both sides, North Carolina bounces back after the horrible loss last week to Virginia, and Duke, although they don't get the victory, really, I thought, made a gallant effort today.
Well, first of all, to Duke, I give them a high five because they were courageous. They had more than a number of reasons to give up at points throughout this entire season. They never did. And a lot of that goes to their coach, Coach Goldsmith. This guy has no quit in him, and look for the Devils to come back strong next year.
Well, we have enjoyed our broadcasts of ACC football all year, particularly the work down on the field of the guy we lovingly refer to as the Hog, Mike Hogwood. Mike, how about some final thoughts on this 96 ACC campaign?
Well, I've had a great time working with you guys as well, and I talked to Fred Goldsmith before the game. He says he's really at peace with himself and what he's doing here at Duke. He believes he's going to get this thing going in the right direction starting next season. As many young players who was playing today, I have to agree with him. And what about Mack Brown? After a couple of 1-10 seasons, he has really established North Carolina as a football power and really one of the best in America, in the top 10 for most of this season. 9-2. North Carolina thinks they can start to play a little bit with Florida State, and I tend to agree. They've recruited some great athletes, and I think ACC football this season has taken a step up. Jack?
I would definitely agree with you, Mike. When you look at not only the two teams today, but all the teams, lots of youngsters, there's going to be a lot of great football ahead in this conference.
No, there is. But again, I go along with Mack Brown, and the style of defense that they employ this year gives them the ability to be dominant in years to come.
Well, we couldn't do all the things we do without the great support of all the people whose names and faces you will see here in our close